Chapter 161. Teacher Sue, can you take us in? Teacher? Big sister, is this the Teacher Sue you told us about? The one with unmatched beauty and otherworldly grace? Why do I feel such a terrifying aura from him? This isn't immortal grace at all. He feels like a god of slaughter. Suran, wrapped in a broad black robe, returned to Taoyuan Academy with his disciples. Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhuqing had taken the emergency pills Zhu Zhuqing had given them. Their wounds were mending fast. In a short time, neither of them looked gravely hurt anymore. The pills had been life-saving remedies that Su had left behind in Slaughter City, and they worked remarkably well. Following the Taoyuan disciples, Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Su Ran's back with a nervous whisper to her sister. Zhu Zhuqing looked puzzled too. When Teacher Su had appeared at the Soul Master competition, he had been transcendent and impossibly graceful, a sight that stunned everyone. Seeing him now, his demeanor felt completely different. The dark, murderous aura he exuded was awe-inspiring. Still, Zhu Zhuqing leaned close to Zhu Zhuqing and warned in a low voice, "Don't criticize Teacher Su behind his back. Even if he is a god of slaughter, he's the most handsome god of slaughter there is." "All right, but is he really that good-looking? Even you can't stop talking about him," Zhu Zhuqing murmured, eyes darting curiously. This Peach Garden Academy teacher must be extraordinary to have such an effect on her elder sister. And the Academy's rules were oddly strict. Even after killing the pursuers, they still had to plead for forgiveness. Zhu Zhuqing had never seen anything like it. Under the spreading peach blossoms, Su Ran walked to the stone table in front of the lecture hall. As was custom, even in the teacher's absence, Wang Sheng and Du Yan had placed a pot of peach blossom tea on his usual seat. "Teacher Su, second sister was only trying to avenge me, and third sister," Zhu Zhuqing said, dropping to her knees and pleading for Zhu Zhuqing. In her haste, she was too fierce. "If anyone should be blamed, blame us. Please don't punish second sister." Zhu Zhuqing knelt beside her. Su Ran poured himself a cup of tea, took a light sip, and said in a calm voice, "All right, get up. I did not stop you from killing them, so I will not punish you. If there is fault, it is mine as your teacher." He walked to the peach tree by the lecture hall, removed his heavy black robe, and slipped on the peach blossom teacher's robe that hung there. The murderous aura retreated, replaced by a soft, ethereal presence, like the peach immortal of legend. As he turned, his robe swirled and carried a faint, fragrant breeze of blossoms. His face appeared among the flowers like a painting plucked from spring, brows like distant hills in starlight, a slight arch that hinted at careless detachment. The corners of his eyes curved delicately, his pupils held a brightness like crushed peach petals. When he smiled, it felt like a warm wind carrying a half-finished poem. He stood there, as if drawing all the world's spiritual essence to himself. It was irresistible. To stay with him for a lifetime would be the greatest fortune. Wow. As Su Ran shed his black robe and returned to his usual academy attire, Zhu Zhuqing's young eyes widened in awe, her mouth forming a small O. Her hands gripped Zhu Zhuqing's. Zhu Zhuqing herself was even more flushed. Her dark pupils practically turned into stars, and her fingers twitched as if about to take flight. Teacher Su was still inconceivably graceful, someone out of poetry and painting. Words fell short. "Teacher! Teacher's back! Our senior sisters are back too! Teacher, we missed you so much!" Others who were training in the academy had heard of the teacher's return. They put down their exercises and came to pay their respects. Over a dozen young women, Mu Yun Tang, Mu Yun Ju, Shui Wu, Shui Bing'er, Shui Yuer, and the rest, gathered like early spring blossoms, their youthful energy filling the peach garden. The sight of their teacher made them bloom open. Su Ran raised a hand and sent a gentle peach breeze through them, quieting their excitement. "I will inspect your cultivation progress later. Be quiet." Reluctantly, the girls sat amid the flowers, waiting quietly for his instruction. Zhu Zhuqing took a steadying breath, then turned to Su Ran. "Thank you for understanding, Teacher Su. Tell me, what exactly happened? How did spirit masters from the Star Luo royal family manage to come all the way here to pursue you two?" Zhu Zhuqing steadied herself, glanced at Zhu Zhuqing, and explained. "At the Soul Master competition, Zhuqing defeated us, and Dai Mubai lost to Tianshui Academy. Afterwards, Dai Weisi sent secret guards to capture Dai Mubai and bring him back to the Star Luo Empire. They didn't kill him, but they crippled him. He lost one eye and one arm. Because of that, he has almost lost any right to contend for the throne. But they are brothers. Faced with a weakened sibling, Dai Weishi softened. I found out Dai Mubai still harbored resentment toward Zhuqing and demanded a condition. Dai Mubai swore he would be willing to guard the border and never return to the capital, provided he could immediately marry a direct descendant of the Zhu family to accompany him. Dai Weishi consulted the emperor. The emperor agreed. They designated marriages. Dai Weishi would be confirmed as crown prince and marry me, while Dai Mubai would marry my third sister, Zhu Yu. The Zhu family had no power to resist. Zhu Ziyun's voice broke. I know Dai Mubai had been humiliated by Zhuqing, and his insistence on marrying my third sister struck me as malicious. I was afraid third sister would have a miserable life if she married him. As for me, she could not finish the sentence, but the implication was clear. Seeing Teacher Su and Zhuqing at the competition had awakened feelings and doubts about the life that had been arranged for her. Torn between family duty and these new emotions, she made an extraordinary decision. She would flee the Star Luo Empire with her third sister and seek refuge at Taoyuan Academy. When she finished, Zhu Zhuqing's expression had grown colder. Her fingers clenched. She had believed that by making her feelings known to Zhu Zhiyun at the competition, she had severed ties with the Star Luo royals, but she had not escaped them as she had hoped. Su Ran sighed softly. Such was the burden of noble birth. Women were often offered as sacrifices for the family's standing before they had any say. We have already defected, Zhu Zhiyun continued. We have nowhere to go. The Star Luo family will not let us be, but our family cannot openly oppose them to protect me and third sister. I know this is a difficult request, Teacher Su, but we truly have no place to go. Please, Teacher Su, can you take us in? Julian does not ask to be your disciple. Even if we could simply serve here, pouring tea, fetching water, cleaning, we would do it. I believe only you might be willing to shelter us. Her composed face was disordered from the overnight journey, dark hair curled like silk against her pale skin. Tears gathered in her eyes as she kowtowed deeply to Su Ran, desperate and vulnerable. Chapter 162. Accepting Zhu Zhiyun as a disciple, teacher's big treasure. Zhuqing, what do you think? A breeze of peach blossoms steadied Zhu Zhiyun and Zhu Zhuyu as they rose. Su Ran didn't answer at once. He turned his gaze to Zhu Zhuqing instead. Zhu Zhuqing gave her teacher a formal disciple's bow, biting her lip as she spoke. Teacher, out of personal feeling, I wish for you to keep eldest sister and third sister. But as your disciple, I cannot interfere with your decision. Zhuqing will accept whatever you decide. This whole matter began because of me. Whether or not you choose to keep eldest sister and third sister, I want to return to the Star Luo Empire once more to settle it entirely. Please grant me permission, teacher. Granted. Su Ran smiled faintly and settled on a stone stool beneath the peach blossoms. That's exactly what I wanted to hear you say. Teacher, you support my going back. Zhu Zhuqing blinked, surprised. She had feared Su Ran would forbid her from returning and creating trouble and bloodshed again. Why wouldn't I? Su Ran said. If you can sever the karma and transcend the mundane world by going this time, it will greatly benefit your future cultivation. With no burdens left behind you, you can focus entirely on effort and progress. This isn't wanton slaughter. It's setting your fate straight and resolving what needs resolving. But remember, when you return, you can slay arrogant nobles and unruly members of the royal family, but do not slaughter commoners indiscriminately. Keep your judgment clear. Do not let killing cloud your true heart. Su Ran spoke earnestly. Zhu Zhuqing listened and nodded fiercely. I will follow teacher's instructions without fail. Senior Sister Rongrong, could you help deliver Lingling's cultivation items? Zhu Zhuqing asked Ning Rongrong. The plan had been for Zhuqing to remain in Slaughter City with Ye Lingling, but they had been away from the academy too long and many cultivation items weren't with them. She had meant to return to collect Lingling's things and her own, but this matter had interrupted those plans. Ning Rongrong nodded. Go ahead, Zhuqing. I'll bring Lingling's items. It'll also be a good chance to talk with the sect about supplying provisions to Slaughter City. Slaughter City wasn't small. Feeding tens of thousands of spirit masters there was a huge logistical challenge for ordinary forces, but done properly, it could be profitable. Spirit ancestors, spirit kings, and even spirit saints were far more efficient at producing than commoners. Ning Rongrong understood that and was already thinking like an administrator. Suran added softly, "Rongrong, pour tea, 2 cups." A flicker crossed Ning Rongrong's eyes, but she complied. When she wasn't busy with romance, Ning Rongrong was sharp. Without prompting, she handed 2 cups of peach blossom tea to Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhuyu. The sisters exchanged a momentary puzzled look. Ning Rongrong sighed and teased them. "What are you still standing there for? Hurry and offer tea to teacher, you 2 junior sisters." "Our Peach Garden Academy doesn't keep servants. Teacher said everyone here is equal. There are only 3 types of people in Peach Garden Academy: guests, staff, or students. So which one are you? Think carefully." Raised as the eldest in an imperial noble family, Zhu Zhuqing understood the hint instantly. She bowed quickly and performed the formal tea offering ritual to Su Ran. "Teacher, please accept this tea." "Teacher, please accept this tea." Zhu Zhuyu followed, kneeling and offering tea as well. Detecting host acceptance, sisters Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhu accepted as disciples. Collecting all 3 sisters' rewards, all spirit ring and spirit bone ages increased by 500 years, spirit power slightly increased, unique skill extraction opportunity 3. Suran accepted the peach blossom tea from each of them with calm. He sipped once, set the cup on the stone table, and said, "By offering the disciple acknowledgement tea today, you are now my disciples. Now that you are my disciples, as long as you uphold your duties and abide by the academy rules, if you face danger in the future, I will protect you to the fullest. Even if the Star Luo royal family comes demanding your return, your teacher will not abandon you. However, I've said before that the core disciples roster is full. I cannot take more core disciples on right now. You will be registered disciples. Those seated behind you are your senior sisters. Any objections?" Jujuyan shook her head at once. "No objections. Being able to remain at the academy is already a great fortune for third sister and me. We are perfectly content to be registered disciples." Relief flooded through Zhu Zhuqing. No one else could have known how tightly wounded she had been. She had feared Zhu Zhuqing might bear a grudge and speak ill of her to Su Ran, that she might be driven out. Now she could finally breathe. Surrounded by the flowering peach grove, youthful senior sisters and their ethereal, peerless teacher, both Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhuyu smiled radiantly and felt something bloom in their chests. Peach Garden Academy. This was really Peach Garden Academy. The champion academy of the All-Continent Elite Soul Master Competition. They, too, remembers now. Perhaps they could become as strong as their second sister. The place felt magical and full of belonging. Both sisters sensed their lives were about to begin anew. "Junior sister, I'm 4th senior sister, Meng Yuran. I'm very glad you joined. If you don't understand anything at the academy, ask me." "I'm 5th senior sister, Xiao Wu. And that Wu is the same Wu from the dance, not the number 5, okay? I'm looking forward to seeing you 2 at the academy. But behave, respect your teacher, and treasure the Tao." Xiao Wu chuckled and pointed to the most conspicuous spot in front of the lecture hall, where a vertical couplet instructed the juniors. "Junior sisters, you still carry some toxins that haven't been cleared. Let me help. I'm 6th senior sister, Du Guyan." A girl in a purple-black, form-fitting dress stepped forward, a small green snake coiled on her shoulder. Du Guyan recognized the Star Luo toxins eroding their bodies. She laid a single light touch on their wounds. A cool warmth spread from the contact point and drew the discomfort away. It was astonishingly effective. Everyone in Peach Garden Academy was extraordinary. "I'm Shui Bing'er, and my younger sister is Shui Yue. We're also registered disciples. I'm Shui Wu. Very happy you joined. Junior sisters." The students welcomed Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhuyu warmly, perhaps even more enthusiastic for their teacher. Su Ran only said quietly to Ning Rongrong and Wang Sheng, "Eldest senior brother and eldest senior sister of the academy, please introduce the academy's situation to your junior sisters and arrange their accommodations. Zhuqing, Yiren, you 2, come with me to the artifact cultivation pavilion." Su Ran rose and walked toward a tower-shaped pavilion about 500 meters from the lecture hall. The pavilion's far side was spacious, and a profound black plaque hung high, Artifact Cultivation Pavilion. This was a weapons construction pavilion Su Ran had paid handsomely to have the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School supervise. It was used for researching hidden weapons, underworld artifacts, and specialized training. Su Ran had a great treasure he wanted to teach them. Chapter 1. Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon, Instant Kills Spirit Douluo. On the way to the Artifact Cultivation Pavilion, Su Ran reviewed the talent information for his two newly accepted disciples. He had already decided their cultivation paths, largely following Zhuqing's Grand Tao, but adjusted to fit their individual spirit abilities and temperaments. That way, Zhuqing could teach in his stead when necessary, and their training wouldn't fall behind. With the disciple acceptance rewards distributed and the gains from the Slaughter City trip added in, Su Ran's resources had swelled. His own strength, roughly, was as follows. Su Ran, Spirit, Divine Show Peach Branch, Spirit Power, Super Douluo, currently level 95, advancing toward 96. Spirit Bones, 200,000-year external spirit bone, Cloud Dream Immortal Wings, 180,000-year right arm bone, Heavenly Craftsmanship, and others. Domains, Divine Show Peach Sky, Master of Glory, Magic Band Domain, Slaughter God Domain. Spirit Abilities and Limits. First, Jeji Ru Meng, Plucking Branches as Dreams, 18,000-year limit. Second, a Dream Peach Sword Order, 25,000-year limit. Third, Chaotic Red Flying Snow, 35,000-year limit. Fourth, Scarlet Moon Peach Bloom, 50,000-year limit. Fifth, Burning Flower, 1,000 Peach Slash, 88,000-year limit. Sixth, 9 Luminaries Peach Blossom Sword, Skill 1, and Blazing Sky Star, Awakening Skill 2, 150,000-year limit. Seventh, Red Dust True Body, 100,000-year Accompanying Ring Domain, Heavenly White Jade Capital, 230,000-year limit. Eighth, Falling Moon, Skill 1, Falling Sun, Skill 2, 250,000-year limit. Ninth, Extreme Intent Freedom, Skill 1, Peach Immortal's Guidance, Myriad Flowers Bloom, Skill 2, 400,000-year limit. Outside the pavilion stood a woman in a simple peach dress, clutching a broom. She watched the dean's back for a long moment before turning away. Inside, Su Ran led Zhuqing and Meng Yiran up to the 3rd floor. The pavilion was kept immaculate. Normally, apart from Su Ran when studying system-rewarded artifacts, no one else had permission to enter. On the shelves of the 3rd floor were artifacts that even Zhuqing and Meng Yiran, who had studied the Netherworld Instrument Thousand Cry blueprints, did not recognize. Meng Yiran, who loved hidden weapon designs, brimmed with curiosity. After inspecting the room, her gaze fell on her teacher. Her face flushed. Her grandmother's lessons came back to her instantly. "Teacher, you just returned. Aren't you going to rest? Your disciple recently learned a massage technique from Grandma. Shall I help you relax first?" she asked, fidgeting. "No need," Su Ran said, and walked to a movable blackboard. He picked up a pointer and spoke evenly. "The reason I called you here is simple. Zhuqing, although your current strength could hold up against a spirit Douluo, it would be dangerous for you to go back to Star Luo and face the Star Luo royal family's heavy hitters alone. I worry about that. So I've prepared a few things for you." Hearing that, the usually reserved Zhuqing felt a warmth bloom inside her. Her teacher had done so much for her. Su Ran continued, "Your advantage on this return will be surprise. Strike fast, seek decisive force, win with one powerful blow, and use momentum to crush them. That's the strategy I want you to take. Even if your power has leaped forward, pulling off a quick, decisive victory won't be easy. Fortunately, you've already mastered your movement technique. Unless they have an agility attack system titled Douluo, they won't be able to catch you, and if things go wrong, you can still escape." "No matter what, I'll give it my all," Zhuqing said, eyes hardening. "I won't run." A shadow crossed her face. "If I can't win, I might die in Star Luo. For my family and my 3rd sister, I'll have no regrets. But I don't know how I can ever repay, teacher. Maybe, she faltered, cheeks flushing as she was about to say something reckless. "No need for that." Su Ran interrupted, and to their surprise took down a strange weapon from a black shelf. It was entirely obsidian black, about 1.5 meters long. He set it in front of Zhuqing. The body looked like iron forged through glacial fire, heavy, cool, with a metallic chill under the skin. What drew their eyes most were the carvings on either side of the receiver. Not pretty scrollwork, but a violently carved scene of a mountain cleaving in two. Half a mountain split, debris scattering like a storm, jagged cracks revealing darker veins beneath, as if magma surged below. The carving was so vivid it seemed about to burst free from the gun. Zhuqing and Meng Yuran had never seen anything like it. At first glance, it recalled the seven-treasure glazed tile school's Hell Revolver, but this weapon was larger and heavier, evoking an almost instinctive awe. "Teacher, what is this?" both girls asked in unison. "I call it the Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon." Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon? The name made both shiver. A name like that implied lethal intent. Suran's tone turned instructional. "You know the basic principle of hidden weapons. They use simple force relationships for explosive, instantaneous damage. That's why hidden weapons are most effective when used by surprise, in secret. But the Netherworld Instrument Thousand Cry designs you've studied already took things further, integrating spirit power, dark nitrate substances, and sometimes gems to direct and stabilize explosive force. Think of the upgraded Ghost Shuttle, the Hell Ghost Shuttle, or the Golden Revolver. They're remarkable, but still rudimentary compared to what I'm about to show you." He set the cannon on the bench and touched a control. "There's a new class of weapon, spirit tool killing weapons. Most spirit masters treat spirit tools as storage or minor utilities, but spirit tools can be constructed to channel spirit power and energy gems to produce devastating explosive force. The Sky-Shattering Cannon is an 8th-level spirit tool killing weapon." Zhuqing and Meng Yuran stared, mouths parted. "8th level?" Meng Yuran breathed. "Yes. Despite still needing optimization, it already has terrifying propulsive force. Consider it a last-resort self-defense weapon I'm giving you for your trip to Star Luo." Suran's hand closed on the trigger. Usage is simple. Load it with the correct size of profound iron steel sand. Activate it with spirit power through the trigger, aim, and fire. It can crack a soul and shatter a skull. With that, Suran demonstrated. He loaded the cannon, steadied it, and fired at a 20-centimeter slab of profound steel normally used by Senior Sister Rongrong for inch-punch training. Even Rongrong had trouble leaving a mark on that slab. The recoil of the cannon threw sparks and smoke. When the dust settled, the slab was covered in dense steel ball impressions driven deep into the metal. The indentations were far greater than anything a normal hidden weapon would leave. Zhuqing and Meng Yuran's eyes widened. "If that impact hit a human body, it's that powerful," Suran said calmly. "But there's a cost. The recoil is fierce, and each loading only gives 5 shots. Zhuqing, you must remember that." "And Yuran," he added, turning to Meng Yuran with the faintest of smiles, "this is why I brought you here. You love studying artifacts. Your next stage in training will be to personally craft a Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon." Chapter 164, The Seventh Spirit Ring. Dark demonic evil god Tiger. Zhu Zhuqing kills her way back to Star Luo Imperial Capital. "Sister Zhuqing, have you already broken through to Spirit Emperor at level 61? I heard your 6th spirit ring is a 100,000-year ring. A red one? Can you show us?" "Sister Zhuqing, you're the first of us to have a 100,000-year spirit ring. I'm so jealous." Having learned to use the Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon, Zhu Zhuqing put it back into her spirit tool and stepped out of the spirit tool pavilion. A crowd of junior sisters had gathered, buzzing with excitement at her strength and the sight of her spirit rings. A 100,000-year spirit ring was the dream of every spirit master. Zhu Zhuqing didn't dampen their enthusiasm. 6 brilliant spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, black, black, and red, shimmered at her feet. When the 100,000-year red ring glowed, it cast the surrounding peach blossoms in a deep crimson light. Amid the scent of flowers, a chorus of impressed wows broke out, and the ground was thick with envy. This 100,000-year spirit ring was pure luck and my teacher's help, not my doing, Zhu Zhuqing said softly. "I don't expect to be the only one in the academy with a ring like this. Some of you may even get red rings stronger than mine one day." Du Guyan stared, determination flickering in her eyes. With Zhu Zhuqing's current physique, her 7th ring should be able to absorb something between 80,000 and 100,000 years. Over the last 2 years, Shui Bing'er, Shui Yuer, and the others had grown used to academy life and hadn't neglected their body tempering. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's rings, each of them secretly longed for the day they, too, could obtain a 100,000-year spirit ring. The temptation was nearly as powerful as their teacher's influence. "Have you seen enough?" Zhu Zhuqing asked as the girls clamored closer. All right," one of them said. "As expected of a 1,000-year ring, when it appeared your aura changed. It was too dominant. If you've seen enough, I'll put them away." Her cool face softened into the faintest smile. The spirit rings faded from view, and the playful chatter of the junior sisters lifted her mood a little. Still, her expression grew darker as she left Peach Garden Academy. Zhu Zhuyun and Zhu Zhuyu, newly settled at the academy, had stepped out to see what all the commotion was about and caught up with her. "Second sister, are you heading back to the Star Luo Empire now?" Zhu Zhuyun blurted. Zhu Zhuqing nodded once without turning. "No need. You two aren't ready to face Spirit Saint or Spirit Douluo without distraction. Stay here in the academy for now and listen to the teachers. Find the poison protector for tempering baths and practice the essentials I've taught you." She pulled 2 thin booklets from her spirit tool, one detailing the movement technique crossing the yellow springs, the other her insights into the 9-yin white bone claw. When Zhu Zuyun and Zhu Zhuyu took them, both sisters trembled. An old, complicated bond between them loosened and warmed like thawing ice. They were moved. "Second sister, we'll wait for you. You must come back," Zhu Zhuyun said. "Sister Zhuqing, we'll wait for you too," Zhu Zhuyu added. "If you don't return within half a month, we'll come to the Star Luo Empire to find you," another voice chimed in. "Zhuqing, remember you're not alone. I'll stand behind you. If you can't win, come back. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will help," said one of the senior girls. "I'll have our intelligence team keep an eye on you. Our Qian Renxue Academy and Plant Academy stand with you as well," Ning Rongrong declared. Despite Zhu Zhuqing's cold exterior and her sharp temper, Ning Rongrong and the others had a particular bond with her. They did not want to see her in real danger. Voices, Shui Bing'er, Shui Yuer, Yao Zi, Mu Yunju, and many others, rose in a swell of encouragement. "I will," Zhu Zhuqing promised. "I will definitely do it." She hurried away, refusing to look back for fear she would break down in front of her sisters. The academy was her home. These junior and senior sisters were her family. Following her teacher's plan, after digesting the killing intent and the blood-red bat king's power and taking the dueling pill, she expected to reach level 70 within days. It made sense to enter the Star Luo Empire through the Stardew Great Forest on the border. A detour that might be safer and gave her a chance to absorb her 7th spirit ring and awaken her spirit avatar. That would steady her strength for the return. Instead of going straight to Star Luo, Zhu Zhuqing hired a carriage and took the slow route toward the Stardew Great Forest, which marks the boundary between the Heaven Doe Empire and the Star Luo Empire. 2 days later, as her spirit power trembled on the verge of breakthrough to 70, she plunged into the forest's core, not the outer ring, but the dangerous mixed zone. After sparring with a few 10,000-year spirit beasts to stabilize herself, she ran into a rare, fearsome presence, a dark demonic evil god tiger. It was utterly black, without a speck of other color, its red eyes radiating a chilling aura. The beast was over 8 meters long and about 60,000 years old. Zhu Zhuqing's heart tightened. A 60,000-year dark demonic evil god tiger was a top-tier spirit beast. Its strength could rival a high-level spirit Douluo or even a low-ranked titled Douluo. The sane choice would have been to flee. Her teacher Su Ran had once marked the Stardew Great Forest on a map, noting the powerful beasts that might be found there. Zhu Zhuqing remembered the dark demonic evil god tiger from those lessons. Her teacher had mentioned one particular ability, Life and Death Arena. The tiger drags its enemy into a mysterious space and reduces them to the condition of a 6-year-old child. Escape is only possible by killing the tiger. A 6-year-old human would be no match for the beast. They would be torn apart. This time, however, Zhu Zhuqing had a spirit tool killing weapon that even titled Douluo feared, the Crack Soul Sky-Shattering Cannon. When the tiger struck, the terrifying Hell's Purgatory Aurora, the cannon's attack, shattered the dark demonic evil god tiger's defenses. The sky-shattering cannon roared. Despite being reduced in the life and death arena to the form of a 6-year-old, Zhu Zhuqing fired. The recoil from the cannon tossed the child-sized Zhu Zhuqing backward, breaking her arm in the process. But the tiger fared far worse. The steel balls from the cannon pierced its body, riddling it with holes. The beast collapsed. From its corpse, a pitch-black spirit ring drifted free. That moment proved to Zhu Zhuqing the truth of what her teacher had said. Once this weapon hit, it could kill a spirit Douluo outright and grievously wound an ordinary titled Douluo. Inside the tiger's remains, a black attribute bead was trying to flee at high speed. She could not allow it to escape. Ignoring the pain, she reset her broken arm as best she could and leapt forward, snatching the bead. 15 minutes later, Zhu Zhuqing emerged from the Stardew Great Forest. 7 spirit rings hovered at her feet now. Yellow, yellow, purple, black, black, red, and black. Her heart felt lighter. Her steps were buoyant. A breeze brushed past and she'd already leapt hundreds of meters away, moving far faster than any carriage or horse. Her expression was hard and resolute as she thought of the past and the destination ahead. Star Luo Imperial Capital. Dai Weishi, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing was coming back. Far away at Peach Garden Academy, Su Ran, who was organizing the disciples' cultivation records, felt a sudden ping in his mind as a system panel flashed a notification. Your disciple, Zhu Zhuqing, has successfully hunted a 60,000-year spirit beast, the dark demonic evil god tiger, as her 7th spirit ring. The host has awakened the dark demonic evil god tiger's wind, lightning, space, and darkness attribute enchantment abilities. Chapter 165, Threatening the Emperor to Protect Her Family, Castrating Dai Mubai and his brother. This dark demonic evil god tiger really deserves being ranked a top-tier spirit beast by my teacher. It actually let my 9 nether spirit cat evolve and gain extra abilities. And this black bead, it's not an ordinary trinket. I can barely control it. The only thing that felt remotely similar was the Asura demon sword in Slaughter City. I'll show it to teacher when I return to the academy. Star Luo Empire, Imperial Capital. Zhu Zhuqing, dressed in a black and gold fitted suit, took a moment to rest and take in the power the dark demonic evil god tiger had left behind. Killing the beast had cost her. She bore multiple wounds, but the gain was real. The tiger had been highly intelligent, and its intelligence had been its downfall. It had underestimated her, mistaking her for an ordinary level 60 spirit emperor and treating her like prey. It wanted to toy with her, to devour her. After all, a maiden's flesh is tender. But trained by her teacher Su Ran to be an assassin, she refused to be toyed with. She would not let the tiger drain her spirit power with prolonged struggles. As Su Ran had taught, an assassin lives by surprise and a single lethal strike. Her teacher had also taught the specific tactics for the dark demonic evil god tiger. Prolonged fights were deadly. The tiger's skills rivaled an 8th spirit ability of a spirit Douluo, blending displacement, defense, attribute attacks, and a domain. Unless killed instantly by overwhelming force, any fighter could be trapped in a desperate battle. So when the tiger pounced, thinking it had the advantage, Zhu Zhuqing struck. Relying on the instant Yama suppression from the 10 halls of Yama, the heavenly devil creation grand technique, and the restriction of the slaughter magic banishing domain, she moved with the top-tier body movement crossing Yellow Springs. She slipped past the beast and fired 3 consecutive shots from her crack soul sky-shattering cannon into its left brain, left abdomen, and left hip. The tiger had to trigger its life and death arena for survival and couldn't use its evil god protection or evil wind lightblade. The latter 2 shots finished it. Its 7th spirit ring ability, 9 nether evil body, also boosted her 9 nether spirit cat's dark attribute to peak performance. Standing now in the capital that had once filled her with sorrow, Zhu Zhuqing no longer felt weak or afraid. She felt, as her teacher had promised, that she controlled her own destiny. Zhu Residence, the Royal Knight Army stood at attention. General Dai Chengfeng, an imposing figure in white tiger armor, stood on the steps and glared down at the family assembled below. "Zhu Yuan," he barked, "do you realize your crime?" Zhu Yuan, head of the Zhu Residence, patriarch of the Spirit Cat clan, and 8-ring Spirit Douluo, bowed deeply. He dared not show disrespect. The general was not only the imperial capital's garrison commander, one of the two commanders of the Knight Corps, but also of the Star Luo royal family, and ranked a terrifying 86. He spoke carefully. General Dai Chengfeng, our Zhu family has always been loyal to the royal family. My youngest daughter's escape was not our intention. I believe His Majesty will do justice. Not your intention, Dai Chengfeng spat. 3 of your family slipped past the Knight Corps and disappeared. That couldn't have happened without help from an expert. Who assisted them, Zhu Yuan? My 3 youngest daughters are all agility attack spirit masters. We were careless. We didn't expect them to defy the sacred betrothal. The Zhu family will cooperate with the royal family to capture them and force the marriages. Capture them? The general sneered. How? The wedding approaches, yet the pursuing knights haven't returned. No message, no trace. Your daughters have committed high treason, disobeying an imperial decree and murdering royal attendants. Their crime calls for execution. With a sweep of his hand, he unfurled a golden imperial edict carved with white tiger patterns and announced in a cold voice, I, White Tiger General Dai Chengfeng, proclaim the sacred imperial edict. You, the Zhu family, for failing in your duties, for defying the sacred will and sullying the royal family's name, are guilty of a crime punishable by extermination of 9 generations. In deference to the Zhu family's founding contributions, only your noble titles are revoked, all properties confiscated, and your 9 generations reduced to commoners. Direct male descendants will serve 20 years of hard labor. Females shall enter the palace as servants. The head of the Zhu family and his wife will be escorted to the cold prison to suffer the 10 great tortures, and then imprisoned indefinitely in the black prison as a warning to others. Zhu family head, receive the decree, Dai Chengfeng ordered. As the decree was read, the assembled Zhu clan members cried and cursed the missing daughters. The edict stripped the clan of all honor and reduced them to the lowest status, cold prison, black prison. Only a handful of people in the past century had been sent there. Rumor said few survived their sentences without going mad. My lord, does His Majesty truly intend this? Zhu Yuan's voice trembled. Our family has served for 3 generations. Our ancestor, Empress Yuming, was His Majesty's grandaunt. Will you erase all our merits over our daughter's rebellion? This is His Majesty's will, Dai Chengfeng replied coldly. Receive the decree, Zhu Yuan. If you comply now, most of your clan may live. The general's display of force was deliberate. Behind him, the Knight Corps bristled with spirit power, 7 spirit rings glowing on many of them, and dozens of Spirit King and Spirit Emperor units waited in support. The Zhu family could not resist. Zhu Yuan, despite his 80-plus rank spirit power, understood too well. If the royal family insisted on total extermination, the family would fight to the death. But by punishing certain members severely while sparing others, most of the clan would yield. He had no choice. Then, from outside the residence, a figure moved in, Zhu Zhuqing. She carried a black cannon and walked calmly, forcing back more than 10 Spirit Emperor-ranked knights with the chilling aura of 9 yin. At her side, she held a middle-aged man in the imperial yellow robe as a hostage. She strode up to Dai Chengfeng without flinching. The Star Luo Emperor is here. Who dares be presumptuous, she said. Dai Chengfeng blinked in disbelief, then fell to his knees. The knights around him stared as the Emperor's face turned pale. Your Majesty, he cried. The Emperor, sweating, felt the crackling of the crack-soul sky-shattering cannon pressed against him. Cold sweat ran down his brow. He hurriedly produced a new imperial edict. This emperor has wronged the Zhu clan. The Zhu family is innocent. The clan and the royal family have been allies for generations. Let there be reconciliation. I hereby issue a new decree. The Zhu clan is pardoned and rewarded. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Dai Chengfeng read the new decree aloud. The Zhu clan pardoned, the engagement dissolved. Zhu clan granted a fief of 100 li around Dragon Rising City? A fief is a royal privilege, people whispered in astonishment. The Zhu family stared dumbfounded at the young woman who had just appeared and seized the emperor. One elderly noblewoman collapsed and crawled to Zhuqing's side. Zhuqing, my Zhuqing, she sobbed. Are you hurt? Just a few scratches, Zhu Zhuqing replied, scarcely looking at them. She spoke plainly. Take whatever valuables you can and flee. Abandon what you must. I can only do this much. Either disperse to Dragon Rising City or seek your own fortunes. I cannot protect you all. Her attack on the imperial palace, taking the emperor hostage to save her family and castrating the princes in the process, had been a desperate gamble, one the royal family could not ignore. Dragon Rising City lay on the empire's border, less than 200 li from the Heaven Do Empire and near Spirit City. If the emperor mustered his forces, she could not defend the entire clan. But at the border, her relatives could either enjoy the fiefdom or slip across the border to safety. She could not and would not shield them from imperial power, glory, or influence, only give them a chance. Inside the White Tiger Hall, the scene was gruesome. More than 10 bodies littered the floor, generals, even 2 Spirit Douluo-grade commanders, their bones shattered and huge holes blown through their torsos by a single shot. Blood stained the tiger steps. Princes Daiwasi and Daimubai lay half dead, shrieking at the memory, their lower bodies drenched in blood. 2 young eunuchs knelt beside them, knives in trembling hands, sobbing. They remembered Zhu Zhuqing's iron calm as she stormed into the hall, blasting the 88th-ranked Imperial Defender General to pieces with one shot, forcing the eunuchs to do what she commanded, then holding the emperor hostage as she made her exit. "What divine weapon is that?" someone whispered. "Zhu Zhuqing. She's terrifying." One of the wounded princes groaned, furious and humiliated. "If I can't marry her, I'll take her sister. Do you have to interfere?" "Ah, my brother, you've ruined everything," another cried. But the hall buzzed with shock and fear at the young woman who had turned the tables on the empire in a single violent stroke. Chapter 166, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong. You want to go to Taoyuan to become a disciple? Teacher will go with you. Ha! Truly worthy of Teacher Su's student, extraordinary indeed. Even forcing the Son of Heaven to issue an edict to Star Luo, castrating a crown prince, can anyone really pull that off? Isn't she afraid the Star Luo Empire will lash out? Teacher Su, you said you weren't fit to teach our Spirit Hall disciples, but look at Zhu Zhuqing. You've trained her to the Pope's great satisfaction. In Spirit City, in the Supreme Pontiff Palace, the exceptionally beautiful woman, seated on the high throne, laughed with enchanting delight. The incident at the Zhu family in the Star Luo imperial capital would never be made public by the Emperor of Star Luo. It was too humiliating for the Dai clan and a grave affront to the throne. The emperor not only covered up Zhu Zhuqing's rampage through the palace, he went so far as to proclaim the Zhu clan the Dai clan's most loyal subjects and promised them special favor. Whether that smile hid a dagger was obvious to anyone with sense. But Spirit Hall's intelligence network was different from the public. A spirit master from its imperial branch had uncovered the truth soon after and reported it to the Supreme Pontiff Palace. When Bibi Dong learned of the affair, she was thrilled. What Zhu Zhuqing had done was bold in a way even she wouldn't risk, and it suited her perfectly. Seems the Elder Hall is still too conservative. Why bother with disguising someone as the crown prince to inherit the throne? Better to kill Emperor Shui and set someone up as the emperor directly. Teacher Su's disciple thought of it first. Teacher Su, you really are like me. You're so good at pretending. You and the Pope are a perfect match. Bibi Dong smiled radiantly. Whenever she thought of Teacher Su Ran's immortal bearing, her heart fluttered. She longed to find a graceful pretext to visit Taoyuan Academy and spend time with him, but the teacher's coldness worried her. How to go without seeming improper occupied her thoughts daily. At that moment, a cool, elegant voice came from outside. Nana has returned and requests an audience with teacher. Come in. Bibi Dong straightened, gripped the Supreme Pontiff's scepter, and watched as Hulina glided in, slender and composed. Congratulations on coming out of Slaughter City safe and sound. The Slaughter God domain should have boosted you greatly, Bibi Dong said. Reporting to teacher, I didn't obtain the Slaughter God domain, Hulina replied, cupping her hands. Bibi Dong's eyes narrowed. You didn't pass the road to hell. Then how did you get out? Teacher, although I didn't get the Slaughter God domain, I obtained an even better magic banishing domain. In this domain, I gain the enhancements of the Slaughter God domain, and I can also restrict enemies from using their spirit abilities. A dark red aura unfurled from Hulina's body. Bibi Dong leaned forward to feel it, and her expression shifted. What exactly happened? she asked. She had been in Slaughter City herself and knew how dangerous such a domain could be. Juliana hesitated, then briefly recounted what had occurred in Slaughter City. When she mentioned that 4 disciples from Taoyuan Academy had gone in for training as well, Bibi Dong's brows knitted. When she heard that Teacher Su Ran had appeared, turned the tide, rescued his disciples, and that his boundless peach blossoms had reshaped Slaughter City's rules, Bibi Dong's eyes gleamed. Nana, tell me exactly how Teacher Su appeared. How did he defeat that Slaughter King, and what did it look like when his peach blossoms filled Slaughter City? Oh, what a pity Teacher couldn't see it in person. If I'd known Teacher Su was there, even if it had been a mountain of blades and a sea of flames, I'd have followed him. As Hulina described the scene, regret washed over Bibi Dong's face. Then she snapped back to attention. So does that mean Slaughter City is now under Teacher Su's control? Kind of, but not entirely. Hulina shook her head. Teacher Su said Slaughter City will still be managed by the 2 new Slaughter Kings and the 3 judges, us included. Teacher Su won't intervene lightly. However, Teacher, I have a bold request. I still hope Teacher will agree. Hulina's usually confident smile faltered. She twisted her hands behind her back and hesitated. Bibi Dong felt a bad premonition. This shy, embarrassed look was new. Speak, Bibi Dong said. Hulina closed her eyes, then knelt with a thud and spoke bravely. Teacher, I want to go to Taoyuan Academy to become a disciple, to study under Teacher Su. What? What did you say? Bibi Dong's face flared red. She stormed down the steps, the Supreme Pontiff's scepter gripped tight, and stared at Hulina kneeling before her. I will not be betrayed. You are my disciple. You will not leave me. It's just that in Slaughter City, Teacher Su sighed and said that because I already have a teacher, if he accepted me as his disciple again, it would make Teacher unhappy. It wouldn't be proper for a teacher and student. Hulina hurried to explain, eyes pleading. I'm not trying to be ungrateful or to betray you. I will always be your disciple. It's just that Teacher Su Ran is so handsome and talented. Bibi Dong's anger evaporated like mist. She was baffled by the sudden shift in her own mood and found herself reaching down to help Juliana to her feet with remarkable tenderness. Juliana stared, stunned. Nana, the teacher is not angry with you, she said, trying to soothe her. After all, Teacher Su is a world-class master. His teaching ability surpasses mine. It's natural you would be moved. You mean Teacher Su didn't take you because he was considerate of me? That single sentence sent Bibi Dong into rapture. That little Dean Su of Taoyuan. He may have seemed cold these past 2 years, but he really did care for me. What a man who says one thing and means another. Hulina continued in a rush, too embarrassed to be dignified. Yes. And in Slaughter City, I heard Teacher Su's criteria for a partner: independent, mature, steady, dignified, strong. He said even if it were a teacher-student relationship, he wouldn't mind public opinion. Bibi Dong's heart swelled. Those qualities were practically a tailor-made description of herself. She could hardly contain her glee. All right, she said at last, smiling broadly. Teacher gives permission. If it genuinely helps your cultivation, you may go, and Teacher will go with you. But remember, no improper thoughts. It's natural to admire someone like Teacher Su, but you must keep your propriety. Understand? Chapter 167. Qian Renxue reports to Taoyuan Academy for study. A few days later, in Soto City before Taoyuan Academy, a figure in a golden white dress stood beneath the peach blossoms. Her golden hair was tied high in a ponytail, a noble hairpin holding it in place, and an angel wing-shaped mark graced her brow. Bathed in falling petals, she looked like an angel of the peach grove. She cupped her hands slightly toward the academy and announced, Shui has come to Taoyuan Academy to report for study. Beside her stood a capable-looking, short-haired, middle-aged man. He looked over the peach grove and said in a low voice, Is this Taoyuan Academy? What a splendid setup. The Supreme Pontiff Palace's branch is on the right, and the 7 treasure glazed tile school on the left. Outside the 2 great empires' capitals, I don't think any place else could match this. Holy maiden, with your standing, why make a formal announcement? Just go in, he added with a sniff, his demeanor arrogant as he started toward the peach grove. Qian Renxue quickly stopped him. 7th High Priest, please respect Teacher Su. Grandfather was uneasy about my coming to Taoyuan Academy, and he only asked you to accompany me to observe the Academy's standards, not to make trouble." The man grunted. "Very well. Since you say so, Holy Maiden, I'll be polite. But I expect this Peach Garden Dean not to disappoint me, or my coiling dragon rod won't be merciful." He stepped back. He was, in fact, the Offering Hall's 7th High Priest, the level 96 Super Douluo, demon-subduing Douluo. 3 or 4 years earlier, Taoyuan Academy had won the championship at the Soul Master competition in Spirit City. The Holy Maiden and the 2nd High Priest had both praised the Academy highly afterward. The Holy Maiden had even claimed to be a disciple of the Peach Garden's master and wanted to study there, which had surprised the High Priests in the Offering Hall. They did not trust this teacher Su, despite his championship team, and the High Priest still harbored doubts. The Holy Maiden insisted, and after much persuasion, the High Priest agreed only on the condition that he dispatch someone to accompany them and verify the Academy's standards. Standing at the Academy gate, Qian Renxue's eyes, golden and bright, shone with anticipation. In the past 2 years, she had settled the affairs between Spirit Hall and the Tiando royal family. She had staged a fake death for Crown Prince Shui Qinghe, escaped the constraints of the Tiando family, and returned to her own life, no longer bound by disguise. Now she could finally enroll at Taoyuan Academy and cultivate openly with Teacher Su. A small vendor named Flender tiptoed up, holding 2 palm-sized jars. "Young lady, here to become a disciple?" he said in a sing-song voice. "How about 2 jars of peach blossom honey as a disciple's gift? Brewed from peach blossoms, long-term use makes your skin blush like petals, pink and soft. 1 jar is only 5 gold coins. You look faded, just 5 gold." Qian Renxue laughed inwardly. 5 gold was affordable, but wealth didn't mean gullibility. She studied Flender and asked flatly, "Are you with the Academy?" Flender snorted and pointed to the Academy. "I used to live inside." "And now? Now I'm still a devoted fan of Teacher Su, haha." Qian Renxue gave him a long look. "You're a swindler, aren't you? If this honey did what you claim, it'd be in short supply. You wouldn't be knocking door to door. Get out of here, you. What kind of stray dares to extort? Do you want a beating?" Flender barked back, but as soon as the demon-subduing Douluo heard the word swindler, his aura flared. The air around him thickened with power, and Flender's bravado evaporated. He fled on the spot. At that moment, 2 gatekeepers of Taoyuan Academy, Wang Sheng and Xiao Chenyu, emerged from the peach grove. They stopped short when they saw the golden-haired beauty. Wang Sheng cupped his hands politely. "Senior sister, are you Qian Renxue?" "You know me?" she asked, reaching for her peach blossom token to prove who she was. Wang Sheng beat her to it. "Teacher Su told us 2 years ago, if a golden-haired, golden-eyed angel came to report, she was to be allowed through. She's a core disciple." Hearing that, a soft smile touched Qian Renxue's cold, exquisite face. It wasn't just the compliment, it was that Teacher Su had remarked about her beauty. If a young man praised a girl as a golden angel, it meant he liked her. Teacher Su must have liked her too. The demon-subduing Douluo frowned as he scanned the academy. "It's quite spacious, but there don't seem to be many students. It can't compare with other academies." Wang Sheng shrugged with pride. "We're small in number, but our students' quality surpasses others. When we won the Soul Master competition, we had only 7 or 8 students. Teacher Su can teach those others can, and those others can't. But Teacher Su doesn't take pupils the way other academies do. He's selective. Winning that competition is an honor, but it's a child's game that's only come about in the last 20 years, the demon-subduing Douluo said with the air of an elder recalling wars. "When we were young, the Heaven Du Empire and the Star Luo Empire were enemies, fighting constantly. Our Soul Masters were tempered on the battlefield. Only when the 2 empires could no longer bear it did they make peace and start this competition to test the younger generation. Little fellow, you don't know that history. There's more than one path to strength. Teacher Su says Soul Master cultivation varies by person. Battlefield experience doesn't automatically make someone superior, and competition winners aren't always the strongest." The older man chuckled. "You're quite glib, boy." Wang Sheng beamed. His senior sisters often called him dull and slow. A compliment from an elder was rare and welcome. Senior Sister Qian, this is the inner courtyard and the Academy's original site, Wang Sheng continued. Teacher Su is currently grading homework in the study hall. 2 ladies are waiting ahead. Please rest here and enjoy our peach garden tea. He led Qian Renxue and the demon-subduing Douluo to sit beneath a peach tree and poured them tea as the petals drifted down around them. Chapter 168, Mother and Daughter Compete for a Teacher. This Taoyuan Academy teacher is that prestigious? The Holy Maiden has to wait this long? Can't he just correct students' work later? And why are 2 women before us in line? We arrive and still have to wait? Let's see which fool dares to stand in front of us. Qian Renxue sipped the peach blossom tea at the stone table with quiet patience, letting the fragrance roll over her. The scent tugged at a memory, the time beneath the white orchid tree when she and teacher met. A warm flush rose in her chest at the recollection. Demon-subduing Douluo, on the other hand, paced restlessly beneath the peach tree. After a while, his patience wore thin. He strode past the small rock spring in the center of the plaza and cast a proud look toward the other table, then froze. His arrogance drained away as he caught sight of the 2 women seated there. He bowed slightly and said, "Excuse me." The woman acknowledged him with a faint wave, and demon-subduing Douluo backed off, muttering, "Even someone from the Supreme Pontiff's palace has come? What's happening here?" Qian Renxue finally surfaced from the tea's perfume and asked, "What is it?" Demon-subduing Douluo took a breath. "Holy Maiden, you should see for yourself. You'll be surprised." She rose, stepping through the carpet of fallen peach petals, and went around the spring to look. When she saw the 2 women, her expression shifted with unmistakable surprise. "It's you," she said. "You're here too?" the other woman answered. They stared at each other for a moment, both stunned. Qian Renxue recovered first. The finals of the Soul Master competition were being held at the Supreme Pontiff's palace, so it made sense that Bibi Dong would know Teacher Su. What she didn't expect was to run into her here. Bibi Dong looked equally surprised, but quickly caught on. "So you were the one who sent the gold crocodile offering to support Teacher Su back then," she observed. "That's right," Qian Renxue said coolly. "I'm not like some people whose poor judgment turns every plan to waste. They even sent assassins to ambush Taoyuan Academy's promising students. It's generous of Teacher to admit you despite that." Qian Renxue sat down opposite Bibi Dong with composed elegance, but her opening words immediately darkened Bibi Dong's face. "What does any of that have to do with you?" Bibi Dong replied. "Teacher Su and I call it knowing each other through strife and true feelings revealed in hardship. As for you, your schemes collapsed, creating a scandal across the empire, and yet you ran to Teacher Su to seek instruction. It's remarkable. What years of planning? That was your idea in the first place," Qian Renxue snapped. "If you hadn't proposed it, why would I have suffered for so long, even being told by Teacher that I'd missed the best years for cultivation?" Her tone chilled, and she slapped the stone table. The teacup trembled. Few dared to strike a table in front of Bibi Dong. Across the continent, they could be counted on one hand, and Qian Renxue was one of them. Bibi Dong only smiled, unconcerned. The pontiff merely offered a possible strategy. The elder in the offering hall couldn't protect you himself and chose that unreliable route. How can you lay the blame at my feet? You. A tense silence stretched between them. Hulina, sitting beside Bibi Dong, watched the exchange with mounting anxiety. The argument confused her. She tried to smooth things over. "Teacher, Holy Maiden, please have some peach blossom tea and calm yourselves. This is Taoyuan Academy. Let's not disturb Teacher Su's tranquility." She poured tea for both women. "I've heard this tea was personally brewed by Teacher Su. The flowers and herbs are rare. Please try it." At the mention of Su Ran's name, both women lifted their cups and took deep sips, trying visibly to steady themselves. Hulina added in a plaintive note, "Really, you're on the same side. Why fight? The wrong has been done, and the real culprit is gone." At that moment, Su Ran emerged from the schoolroom, looking fresh and composed. He'd spent several days compiling the Academy students' cultivation records and planning the next steps. In his head, the roster was clear. Ning Rongrong, Spirit, 9 Treasure Golden Diamond Pagoda. Spirit Power, 62. Spirit Rings, Yellow, Yellow, Purple, Black, Black, Black. Abilities, Forbidden Magic Domain, 9 Treasure Golden Bell, Peak 7th layer, inch punch level 2 mastery, minor achievements in the indestructible divine skill. Wangsheng, spirit, storm fiend tiger. Spirit power 57, spirit rings, yellow, purple, purple, black, black. Abilities, subduing tiger fist, major achievement. 18 dragon subduing palms, minor achievement, overbearing skill. Mengyiran, spirit undead snake staff, spirit power 56. Spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, black, black. Abilities, undead sky summon opened 5 gates, excellent knowledge assessment in hidden weapons, movement skills reached subtle level. Duguyan spirit, blue phosphor serpent queen, spirit power 59. Spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, black, black. Abilities, dragon snake dual form, major achievement. Spirit snake thousand illusions hand, minor achievement. Calamity poison art, 7 splendors 6 colors. Huo Wu spirit, 2-form soft-boned rabbit. Spirit power 62. Spirit rings yellow, yellow, purple, black, black, black. Abilities, Tai Chi fist, major achievement. Pure moon jade body, bright moon. Marcus Wu's mysterious gate, minor achievement. Ye Lingling, spirit twin lotuses of life and death. Spirit power 62. Spirit rings, yellow, purple, black, black, black. Shui Bing'er, spirit ice phoenix. Spirit power 57. Spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black. Abilities, Heavenly Frost Ice Phoenix, minor achievement, mastery of frozen ice cotton palm. More than a dozen other students and their cultivation records were cataloged clearly in Suran's mind. The moment he stepped out, the whole peach grove seemed to respond. The blossoms stirred, maples whispered, and a faint rosy light shimmered in the air. Suran's modest, approachable bearing made him the center of attention. "I'm sorry to have kept you waiting," he said softly. "I only returned to the academy recently and had a lot to take care of these past few days. I hope you understand." "We just arrived too," Qian Renxue replied immediately. "Teacher, you must be tired. Cher will give you a shoulder rub." At his appearance, the women's faces flushed, their reactions no less intense than when Teacher Su had first descended. Every meeting brought the same, sweetly charged feeling, impossible to hide. Qian Renxue eased in front of him and took his hand. Suran smiled faintly. "That's not necessary. Teacher isn't that old," he said. "I waited 2 or 3 years for you. I feared you wouldn't come," she said quickly, as if to dispel any doubt. "No matter what happens, if the sky falls and the earth splits, even if mountains and rivers break, Shui will keep every promise to Teacher." "It's not that dramatic," Suran joked. "It's good you came, but if you hadn't, I'm afraid some of my other students would nearly have caught up to you." He then turned his attention to Bibi Dong, Hu Liena, and demon-subduing Douluo. "And you, are you here with Shui, or do you have other business?" "Here with her?" Bibi Dong replied coolly. "Teacher Su, I brought Nana here to become a disciple as well." She glanced at Qian Renxue, and her competitive spirit flared. "Nana, aren't you going to kneel and become a disciple?" Huliena hesitated only a moment, then humbled herself amid the falling petals. "Student Huliena," she said, voice steady, "I have come to Taoyuan Academy to seek knowledge. Please accept me as your disciple." Chapter 169, Big Chest, No Brains. Pope Hulina becomes a disciple. "Is this Taoyuan Academy's teacher? So young, so beautiful." Phew. Demon-subduing Douluo groped for breath. When Suran's peerless face appeared, it felt as if something had struck him in the head. He had never seen such a handsome face in his life. He reached up to touch his own cheeks and murmured to himself in disbelief. "He's so handsome. No wonder even the second high priest and the holy maiden praised him so. He truly rivaled the bright moon when I was young. Unbelievable." He remembered when he first met the high priest and second high priest. Spirit Hall was still far weaker then. He had led Spirit Master teams in and out of the chaotic battlefields of the two empires 7 times, completing the organization's rescue missions and earning great merit. Back then, he had been so dashing. Now he had to admit Teacher Su's bearing was no less impressive than his had been. Still, becoming a disciple? Isn't Hulina already your disciple, Pope? Why does she have to come to Taoyuan Academy to study? Qian Renxue felt her heart tighten. She stared at Bibi Dong and thought, what on earth is this conniving woman trying to do? From everything she knew about Bibi Dong, the answer was obvious. She did not have good intentions. Suran's eyes flickered with surprise as well. How had the little fox managed to persuade Bibi Dong to bring her here and request to be accepted as a disciple? Not only that, Bibi Dong had personally escorted her. Truly, he'd seen everything now. Pope, if I accept Hulina as a disciple, I'm afraid she won't be able to carry out many of Spirit Hall's tasks or obey your orders any longer. Are you sure you want that? Suran said. Some things had to be put plainly. Bibi Dong blinked. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Nana had both you and me as teachers? Teacher Su and I are a perfect match. Teaching her together will surely turn Nana into a top genius. Juliana tilted her head, confused at the collocation. Is that how that expression is used? Qian Renxue stepped in front of Suran, one eyebrow raised. Teacher, don't listen to this woman's nonsense. She's extremely unreliable. Unreliable? How dare you speak to your elder sister like that? No matter how unreliable your elder sister is, she's still more reliable than some people who have no manners. To take a disciple, there must be a disciple acceptance ceremony. Teacher Su, Nana and I came with sincerity. These are a small token of our thanks. Bibi Dong waved her hand, and a row of delicately wrapped gifts appeared on the otherwise bare stone table, where before there had been only a pot of tea. 100-year celery snow, symbolizing diligence and studiousness. 1,000-year osmanthus mandarin, symbolizing long lineage and perfected karma. A venerable elder tree sapling, showing respect for teachers and elders. Peach blossom honey, signifying deep affection, the taste of Taoyuan itself. Qian Renxue and demon-subduing Douluo glanced at the offerings. They weren't priceless treasures, but they were respectable gifts for a disciple acceptance ceremony. Qian Renshue's lips curved into a faint smile. She tapped 2 jars of peach blossom honey with a slender finger. This disciple would like to ask, what about these 2 jars of peach blossom honey? Is your deep affection just that inferior flower honey you bought from the swindlers at the academy gate? Heh, Qian Renxue covered her mouth and chuckled. Bibi Dong's face fell. She muttered, How did you know? You see, esteemed Pope, I warned you she's unreliable, but you didn't listen. You even believed those 2 peddlers. Peach blossom honey? It's just honey with a few peach petals tossed in. They sold it for 5 gold coins a jar, when it's really only worth a silver. Qian Renxue enjoyed watching Bibi Dong get duped. Big chest, no brains. Bibi Dong's expression soured. Don't talk nonsense, Teacher Su. I chose these carefully. They are not ordinary honey. But in Bibi Dong's heart, turmoil raged. 5 gold coins? I paid 1,000 gold coins a jar. Because it was sold as Taoyuan Academy's special honey, I assumed it had to be priceless. I bought 2 jars. You're telling me I was tricked? Impossible. The Pope's discernment cannot be wrong. If it really is just ordinary honey, I'll hunt down those 2 and clatter, clatter. Meanwhile, at the peach blossom honey stall, Flender listened to the satisfying jingle of 2,000 gold coins. I thought little girls liked sweets, he said, rubbing his hands, but I never expected the Pope to be the most discerning customer. 1,000 gold coins a jar. We're rich. That pays the fine from the 7-treasure glazed tile school and leaves us with a huge profit. Zhao Wuji frowned. But old Flender, that's the Pope of Spirit Hall. If she finds out our honey wasn't painstakingly extracted from Taoyuan Academy's peach blossoms, won't she come beat us to death? What are you afraid of? Taoyuan Academy values decorum. We didn't force her. She offered the price. I told her Taoyuan flower honey is priceless and only sold to those with true affinity. She paid. That's on her. I'm honest as a trader. Just tell me, does our peach blossom honey even have peach blossoms? Is there any actual honey? And those peach blossoms didn't drift in from Taoyuan Academy. Flender simply stared at the glittering pile of coins, and greed overcame caution. With the Pope's dignity, would she admit she bought ordinary honey? Zhao Wuji scratched his head. Well, what you say makes sense. Anyway, if the Pope's people come looking, you handle them. Back at the stone table, Suran regarded the gifts calmly. As the saying goes, a small gift expresses great thought. The items themselves aren't the important part. The thought matters. They're also not the key to whether this disciple may remain at the academy, he added. If 2 teachers teach 1 disciple and their philosophies diverge, whose teaching should prevail? If 1 teacher assigns a task that conflicts with the other teacher's plan, whose orders take priority? This is messy, improper. Suran shook his head. Qian Renxue followed obediently behind her teacher, quite pleased. Not accepting her? As if. Bibi Dong had other ideas. She wanted to use Nana's chance to study at Taoyuan Academy to grow closer to Teacher Su. After all, this vast academy had no mistress. How could it be acceptable for these lively young girls to spend all their time with Teacher Su without a chaperone? If Nana studies under Teacher Su, naturally Teacher Su will lead everything, Bibi Dong declared. The Supreme Pontiff Palace will not issue tasks that interfere with her training. Everything will be centered on Taoyuan Academy. I greatly admire Teacher Su's methods and want to see how she shapes Nana. I also want to learn from her. Would Teacher Su permit that? Suran's voice was cool. If the Pope keeps her word and Nana agrees, then this girl may stay. However, once inside my school, whether guest or disciple, everyone must obey the Academy's rules and order. No one may act out of line. Discipline will be enforced. There will be no special treatment because someone is the Pope or the Holy Maiden of Spirit Hall. Given that, are you still willing to stay and study here? Chapter 170. I, Bibi Dong, would like to be a Taoyuan assistant teacher and follow Teacher Su to teach disciples. Disciple respectfully receives teacher's instruction. I will strictly follow the academy rules. Student Hulina greets teacher. A soft breeze stirred the peach blossoms. Pale petals drifted down and settled in the hair of the two girls, whose lips were as delicate as the flowers. Qian Renxue and Hulina both performed the disciple's bow to Suran. A peach blossom badge landed at Hulina's feet. Suran spoke coolly. Even if you wish to stay, by academy rules you are only a named disciple for now. Soon the school will hold a selection competition for core disciple spots. Study diligently during this period. If you surpass the other senior sisters and secure a core disciple place, I will devote more time to teaching you. Understood? Hulina picked up the badge decisively. Even a single peach blossom mark was a rare privilege. Being allowed to study at Taoyuan Academy was already immense fortune. She nodded earnestly. Teacher, I will work hard. Teacher, must I enter the core disciple competition? Qian Renxue asked. You don't have to, but since you asked, you may try for experience, Suran replied with a faint smile. Qian Renxue looked puzzled. To avoid any misunderstanding, Suran explained further. There isn't really a seniority gap between core disciples and named disciples. It's only a matter of my available teaching time. I can't personally guide everyone equally, so core disciples receive primary instruction while named disciples get somewhat less attention. Shuier, you became my disciple during the Soul Master competition and enlightened me then. I treat you as a primary disciple. As for Nana, she is formally becoming a disciple today. Though her talent is exceptional, promoting her immediately to core disciple would be unfair to the other named disciples. So she remains a named disciple for now. I see. After Suran's explanation, Qian Renxue and Hulina fell into thought. Both were prodigies, one raised in the Supreme Pontiff Palace, the other a treasure of the offering hall, and both were proud and competitive at heart. If it's the teacher's rule and we've agreed to the academy regulations, we won't break them. If we must compete with the named disciples, then we will. I believe I can win, they declared together. Suran's eyes revealed a trace of amusement at their confidence. The girls' self-assurance was admirable, but they didn't yet know how formidable some of the older named disciples were. Even renowned figures, like the Holy Maiden of Angels or the Heavenly Fox, would find it hard to outshine those who had trained for years and mastered the fundamental unique skills. He smiled faintly. I hope so. Rongrong, show your two new junior sisters to their quarters. Okay, teacher, I'll go. Ning Rongrong, who had been practicing boxing in a nearby training ground, heard Suran's light voice as if it had been directed at her. Her bronzed skin and taut, toned muscles gave her an imposing air. The sharpness in her fists inspired quiet respect. When she approached Qian Renxue and Hulina, she had just regained her usual color. She offered a simple gesture of invitation. I'm senior sister Ning Rongrong. You can call me senior sister or senior sister Rongrong. Follow me. Since returning from Slaughter City, Ning Rongrong had grown quieter. That night, under the stars when Suran spoke to her, she had not fully understood his meaning. Back at the academy, she had sought counsel from her father, Ning Fengji. He had taught her one lesson she would carry always: be composed and generous, remain undisturbed by storms. Suran's appearance astonishes many young girls. If you can see teacher's face and keep control, never showing your emotions, then by your steadiness and dignity, you'll stand out among Taoyuan students and gain teacher's favor. As Qian Renxue and Hu Lina followed Ning Rongrong away, a system notification chimed in Suran's mind. Detecting host has accepted Hu Lina as a disciple, rewarding host with plus 0.1 level to spirit power, 5% to cultivation years of all spirit rings and spirit bones, and 5% to unique skill proficiency, reaching Grandmaster peak. Extracting Heavenly Fox unique skill. As Suran reviewed his unique skills and the Academy's roster, a mix of satisfaction and pressure washed over him. The student body had grown to 20. Ning Rongrong, Huo Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Du Guyan, Meng Yiran, Ye Lingling, Yao Zi, Mu Yunteng, Mu Yun Shui Bing'er, Shui Yue, Shui Wu, Chu Ruoshui, Shen Liuyu, Gu Qingbo, Yu Hairo, Qian Renxue, Hu Liana, Wang Sheng, Xiao Chenyu. He had charted a spirit master's path for these disciples, helping them push past their limits. In return, they had provided him with hundreds of unique skills and techniques of varying quality, enabling him to break through to the Super Douluo realm in a few short years and become the youngest titled Douluo and Super Douluo in Spirit Master history. But with more disciples came greater responsibility. He needed to shepherd their cultivation, if not make them invincible, then at least to place them on a path better than the one they'd otherwise follow, increasing their potential and continued progress. That was the duty of a teacher. Teacher Su, what is it? Are you considering how to teach Qian Renxue and Nana? I'm not only Nana's teacher, but also quite familiar with Shui'er. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say I'm Shui'er's elder sister. This vast academy relies on Teacher Su alone. It must be a heavy burden. Teacher Su, you need someone to confide in and to help. When I was young, I was considered a genius in the Spirit Master world. Even now, my strength ranks among the renowned. I won't claim to be the absolute best in cultivation knowledge, but I know much more than the average Spirit Master. Let me stay and assist you, Teacher Su. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong had stepped forward. Seeing Suran's slight frown, she inclined her head with a graceful bow. Her tone was warm and intimate. Today, she had not worn her usual Supreme Pontiff robes from Spirit City. Instead, she had chosen an outfit that made her seem younger, more like a maiden returned to her first bloom. Soft, slightly wavy purple strands framed her exquisite face. She wore no crown of office, only purple and white butterfly hair ornaments. A lively black and purple braid lay against the exposed skin of her jade-like back. Her white and purple dress blended with the sea of peach blossoms, as though she were part of the garden itself, a partner to the Academy's teaching. Her purple eyes fixed on Suran, admiration shining like ripe fruit, sweet and overflowing. Bibi Dong is willing to be a Taoyuan assistant teacher, to follow Teacher Su and learn the Tao of teaching. Teacher Su, you can do whatever you want to me. Under the peach trees, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong did not get the answer she wanted. The handsome, ethereal man before her had refused her. Other reasons? She asked, voice trembling. She had been prepared to set aside her authority and status as Pope for a post at Taoyuan Academy. With her power, she could have taken an even higher position anywhere on the continent. Even a vice dean role would have been within reach. Yet Suran would not even consider letting her assist him. The insult stung. Could it be because the Supreme Pontiff Palace sent people to interfere with Taoyuan Academy during the Soul Master competition? She forced down pride and tried a conciliatory tone. I was wrong then, spurred on by Yu Xiaogang, and I apologize. The palace already offered a spirit bone as compensation. I'm willing to make amends. Her posture was humble, more like a contrite young wife than the second most powerful figure in the realm, and yet the sharpness beneath it remained. Suran studied her. Bibi Dong could be generous and sincere to those she favored, merciless to those she did not. Her moods swung like a pendulum. He could not say the true reason for his refusal outright, so he answered softly. The Soul Master competition is long past. The students have mostly forgotten it, and the matter was settled. I am not refusing because of that. He paused, letting the petals fall between them. Many things in life are not achieved by mere wishing. They require a certain fate. Between us, our fate is shallow. It would be difficult for us to get along harmoniously. Bibi Dong blinked, then pressed forward. If I come to Taoyuan Academy as an assistant teacher, I will learn your methods and spread Peach Garden's teachings to the thousands of spirit masters in the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Wouldn't that be beneficial to you as well, Teacher Su? Her words made him look at her anew. There was calculation under the coquettish surface, an intelligence he could respect. He sighed and could not reveal everything. He plucked a peach branch and let its blossoms fall. When his composure returned, he spoke plainly. If you truly want to be an assistant teacher, I can give you an opportunity, but the cost is unbearably high, something no spirit master would normally accept. He left the sentence hanging. Bibi Dong's eyes flashed. She bowed her head like someone surrendering. I accept any price. Whatever you want, Teacher Su, I will give it. I'll seal all my spirit power. Do anything you want to me. I won't complain. She sounded utterly resigned, and then, theatrically, draped herself back as if offering herself up. A breeze gathered the falling peach blossoms into a soft bed. Suran shifted a few branches to support her. He steadied her delicate form and, with startling calm, clarified the price. This is not what you think. I am not asking for that. What I want are your 100,000-year spirit ring and your 100,000-year spirit bone. Bibi Dong's eyes snapped open. Her face changed as if the petals had turned to ice. A 100,000-year spirit ring and a 100,000-year spirit bone? How do you know I have them? Suran gave no answer. He could not risk exposing his students to danger by explaining how much he knew. Instead, he stated the stakes plainly. Those are coveted by every spirit master. That is why this opportunity would cost you so much. Bibi Dong steadied herself, anger and calculation wrestling across her features. Is that the only choice? She asked through clenched teeth. There are two choices, Suran replied. You either accept and give them up, understanding that doing so may strip you of the power you pride yourself on, possibly even causing your spirit rank to regress, or you return to the Supreme Pontiff Palace and leave Taoyuan Academy alone. He spoke as if either outcome was acceptable. It was not personal, it was simply the reality of their mismatched destinies. Bibi Dong's pride flared. She was a rank 9 titled Douluo and, by reputation, possessed more than one 100,000-year spirit ring. The idea that Suran would demand such things seemed beneath him. And suppose I were willing, she said, voice tight. How do you intend me to give them? A 100,000-year spirit ring is bound to my spirit now. It cannot be removed, and my 100,000-year spirit bone, it's part of my torso. Removing it would. Her words broke off as she imagined the consequences. To extract a torso bone of that age and integration could at best leave her crippled and grievously wounded. At worst, it would mean instant death. Suran's expression did not change. He had known the price would be brutal. That was kind of the point. If she truly valued her power and her life, she would turn away. If she was willing to sacrifice everything for the chance to walk beside him in the academy, then she would prove the depth of her resolve. Bibi Dong's hands tightened on the satin of her robes. The peach blossoms scattered around them like quiet witnesses. The choice she faced was stark, the opportunity to learn at Taoyuan Academy under Suran, or her body and power intact, but her return to the Supreme Pontiff Palace and the life she had always known. The cost, if paid, would be more than any title could repair. Chapter 172, Bibi Dong Cries in Grievance, the grudges between her and Huo Wu. Once a spirit ring is absorbed, its power becomes the spirit master's alone. Other spirit masters cannot use it. That is common knowledge, Suran explained. However, I have a method to extract the power from a spirit ring, but it requires your complete trust and cooperation, he continued. As for the torso spirit bone, it's harder to extract than bones from other parts, and the process will be more painful. If you trust me, though, I promise that removing a 100,000-year torso bone will not cause fatal damage. Taoyuan Academy can help you recover. But you must understand the downsides. Losing a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone will leave you weakened and in pain for a time. Your spirit power could regress by 1 to 4 levels. After you recover, you can hunt for new spirit rings and spirit bones. Those are the disadvantages. Bibi Dong listened intently. Hearing Suran's careful explanation eased her expression somewhat. Then, Suran raised his right hand and swore to the heavens, voice steady and solemn. I swear on my honor, if you die during the extraction, I, Suran, will take my own life to follow you. Suran's figure, framed by the peach blossoms, swearing like that, stirred a strange flutter in Bibi Dong's heart. If Yu Xiaogang had ever dared to say he'd take her 100,000-year bone and spirit ring, she would have thrown him out without hesitation. But when Suran said it, something about it felt different, credible, almost honorable. Her face warmed. Outside the girls' dorm, under a red maple by the path, Meng Yiran came back from the weaponry repair pavilion and rapped Xiao Wu lightly on the shoulder. Xiao Wu's gaze was fixed on Bibi Dong's figure by the academy. Her fists were clenched so tightly that the knuckles went white. She looked nervous, like someone watching an enemy. Meng Yiran teased, Hey, Xiao Wu, what are you staring at? You're all tense and secretive. Did someone steal your carrots? Startled, Xiao Wu quickly answered, Senior Sister Yiran, don't mind me. I'm just checking the situation. You should get back to your cultivation. Tense posture, solemn expression, sharp eyes. Meng Yiran grinned. According to the hidden weapon assassination techniques we learned, you look exactly like someone lining up their vital prey. Is that the teacher? Oh my, Xiao Wu, you want to kill the teacher? Another girl squealed. Everyone else only dreams of shoving the teacher down once in a while, but you actually want to assassinate him? How bold. Xiao Wu flushed. Senior Sister Yuran, don't say nonsense. Before the teasing could go further, Suran's voice drifted over gently. Xiao Wu, come here. Yes, teacher, Xiao Wu replied, trembling slightly. She forced herself to calm and walked over, making a respectful salute, though her peripheral vision kept lingering toward Bibi Dong. Meng Yiran, sensing the odd atmosphere from her hidden weapons instincts, waved and said, Teacher, I'll go back to study. Suran smiled warmly. Go on. From across the lawn, Bibi Dong watched. After Suran's promise, she had agreed, if there was no risk to her life, to give up her 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone in exchange for resolving the shallow fate problem he had mentioned and for the chance to stay at Taoyuan Academy. The offer was steep, but she thought the trade might be worth it. So when Suran called a student over at that moment, Bibi Dong couldn't help connecting the two. Her eyes narrowed, jealousy flared. Teacher Su, why did you call that student here? Could it be that the spirit ring and spirit bone you want aren't for yourself but for her? Bibi Dong demanded. Suran's reply was calm. What you said isn't wrong. Your 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone are indeed related to this disciple of mine. Bibi Dong's expression soured further. Xiao Wu blinked, confusion and disbelief on her face. Teacher, the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone for me? Yes, Suran said. They are for you, but it's not so much for you as returned to you. He led the two women to sit at a peach blossom table and said, This is a long story. I want both of you to try to remain rational while I explain. Supreme Pontiff, Suran began, turning toward Bibi Dong. Do you recall why I turned down your request earlier? It was because of a shallow fate. The one whose fate with me is deeper than yours is this disciple, Xiao Wu. She studied with me early on. You and she are inherently incompatible, like fire and water. Therefore, as long as she is here, I cannot keep you. Bibi Dong's composure finally broke. Her face twisted with anger and humiliation. Every insult she had swallowed into her pride rose up. Teacher Su, she snapped, standing so abruptly the chair scraped. I have never even spoken to this disciple before. At most I saw her at the Soul Master competition. How can you say we're incompatible like fire and water? I have shown you the utmost respect. You can't treat me like this. Her voice sharpened with wounded pride. I am not some plaything. Yu Xiaogang used me before, and now you, Teacher Su, are using me too. Why must every man I meet take advantage of me? What must I do to be treated with a little decency? Even a lie would be better than this. For all her station and strength as Supreme Pontiff, Bibi Dong could not stop the tears streaming down her face. 2 clear drops fell as she looked toward Suran. If not for his serene bearing beneath the peach blossoms, if not for the restraint of the surroundings, she might have unleashed her spirit rings and caused a scandal within Taoyuan Academy. Supreme Pontiff, Suran began, surprised. It's not what you think, he quickly said. He hadn't expected Bibi Dong to be so provoked, and he knew tears from someone of her rank meant genuine hurt. He glanced at Huo Wu. Huo Wu, explain to the Supreme Pontiff the grievances between you two. Huo Wu's face was calm. Don't worry, I've already spoken with her. No matter how big the matter is, teacher, we'll let you handle it. You may speak freely. Chapter 173, Teacher Suran's Protectiveness, Huo Wu's tear-stained face. Back then, she was the one who killed my mother. I remember her figure. I will never forget it. Teacher, actually, during the Soul Master competition, I already recognized her, but I didn't want to drag the academy into trouble, so I said nothing. I thought I could keep cultivating under you, teacher, grow stronger, and one day be as powerful as you. Then I would take my revenge myself. I remember you once asked in class why we need to become stronger. Cultivation needs a purpose. I also want to be like Zhu Zhuqing, able to protect my sisters, protect the people I cherish, protect my family. I won't be some helpless thing anyone can slaughter. Buoyed by Teacher Suran's support, Huo Wu finally found the courage to stare straight at Bibi Dong. She pulled the yearning, heartbroken red close and let her spirit beast aura radiate slowly. She had envied Zhu Zhuqing so much, standing up for Zhu Zhuqing and Zhu Zhuyu, then returning alone to face the Star Luo royal family. 2 days ago, Teacher Su had received a letter from Zhu Zhuqing confirming her safety. Zhu Zhuqing had taken the Star Luo Emperor hostage long enough to relocate her family to the border, and with her speed, she had evaded pursuit and settled their affairs. Once everything was secure, she would return to the academy. Huo Wu had been happy for her, but a nagging doubt remained. She had never told Teacher Su about her mother's death, so how did he know? Had he used the hypnotic soul technique on her? Had he explored other parts of her mind? The little pink rabbit sometimes felt an embarrassing itch and wondered if that was why. You're that fish that got away back then? Bibi Dong murmured. That's right. I'm that fish, Huo Wu answered. Bibi Dong fell into thought. Feeling Huo Wu's aura confirmed why the girl had always seemed familiar. Teacher Su, did you use that special flower to conceal her aura? You already knew she was a 100,000-year spirit beast? 100,000-year spirit beast standing right here, another voice said. If Teacher Su has the ability to remove and replace spirit rings, why didn't you kill her and take that ring to strengthen one of your disciples? Bibi Dong looked at Suran in surprise. He said nothing. Huo Wu, wary, spoke first. Do you think Teacher Su is like those heartless spirit masters? Even knowing I'm a 100,000-year spirit beast, Teacher Su treated me like any other disciple. He wouldn't harm me. This yearning, heartbroken red, this test of true emotion, was the best gift Teacher Su gave me. It means he trusts me. You won't understand. Is that so? Yearning, heartbroken red, the name is beautiful. You've raised it well. It can test true emotions? Bibi Dong's jade hand reached for the yearning, heartbroken red. Huo Wu hugged it closer to her chest. Bibi Dong drew a breath and looked at Suran with growing doubt. So you didn't take that 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone to empower a disciple. You took it to stand up for her? But her mother is dead. What use is taking a spirit bone and spirit ring? Hunting spirit beasts and absorbing spirit rings is the Tao of cultivation. What did I do wrong? Or are you using this as an excuse to kill me and avenge your disciple while I'm weak? You still don't trust me, do you? Bibi Dong's voice hardened. If I'm the villain who takes advantage of others, why keep talking? You could simply walk away. Suran shook his head, his voice calm but firm. When a flicker of disappointment passed over his handsome face, Bibi Dong grew nervous and rushed to explain herself. Teacher Su is not that kind of person. I truly don't understand his motive. Your hunting of spirit beasts to obtain spirit rings strengthens you. That can't be judged simply right or wrong. It's a difference in stance. But is it wrong for someone to seek revenge for their loved ones? Suran asked, taking a sip of peach tea. My intention is simple. Since Huo Wu has acknowledged me as her teacher, the academy is her home and her backing. I understand why you would hunt a 100,000-year spirit beast for a rare treasure, but my intervening for my disciple is about settling karmic debts. Taking your 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone was meant to give Huo Wu's mother a chance at rebirth, to revive her and resolve that karma. Only then can the academy accept your appointment. That's all. Bibi Dong, You should know a 100,000-year spirit beast is coveted across the Douluo Continent. If Xiao Wu's identity were exposed, she would become everyone's target. I've already shown you enough trust by letting Xiao Wu reveal herself and stand before you. If you go back on your word now and turn hostile, neither I, Su Ran, nor Taoyuan Academy will welcome you. Even if the Supreme Pontiff Palace mobilizes its entire force to attack, I will not take a single step back. His voice carried absolute resolve. Teacher, you're so good to Xiao Wu. The words broke the last of Xiao Wu's restraint. Tears flowed freely as she flung herself into Su Ran's arms, clutching his clothes and sobbing. Silly girl, Su Ran murmured, ruffling her hair gently. His gesture was indulgent. Teacher merely did what a teacher should do. I decided for you. Will you feel wronged by that? Xiao Wu shook her head against his chest, her face streaked with tears. When she looked up, her small face was wet, and her eyes shone with both hope and grief. This is already so much. Teacher, you're already so good. But will she really cooperate? Does Mother really have a chance to be revived? Seeing such affection between teacher and disciple stirred something in Bibi Dong, envy and a wistful yearning for what might have been. If only her own teacher had been like Su Ran, how different everything might have been. She swallowed and said, I will not go back on my word to Teacher Su. I will stay and let Teacher Su extract the spirit bone and soul. But reviving a 100,000-year spirit beast is unprecedented, especially since I absorbed that spirit ring and spirit bone long ago. Can it be done with just one set? That's enough, Su Ran replied. The core of a spirit ring and spirit bone is essentially the spirit ability order formed by the convergence of the spirit beast's soul and origin power. I only need to strip away the remaining soul and origin from within, then nourish them with heavenly spiritual herbs and flowers, and create a new body for them. That could give them a chance at resurrection. Su Ran's words carried more than an answer to Bibi Dong's question. This wasn't just about Xiao Wu's grudge with the Supreme Pontiff. It hinted at a technique that could change the entire Spirit Master landscape of the Douluo Continent. Chapter 174. Tang Hao secretly plants the Blue-Silver Emperor in Taoyuan Academy. Must read, vote at chapter end whether to take the Supreme Pontiff. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong, this may hurt a little. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Shall we begin, Teacher Su? We can start anytime. Then please be a bit gentler. Try to make me bleed as little as possible. I'm mentally prepared and tougher than most, but if Teacher Su is extraordinary, I'll still be nervous. When I get nervous, it's easy to tense up. 2 days later, at the first light of dawn, golden sunshine spread over Taoyuan Academy. A gentle breeze stirred the peach trees and the pond fish swam lazily. Inside the pavilion, with its golden tiles, the furnishings were simple: an ice jade bed, a table, and a few chairs. Bibi Dong looked plainly nervous. Removing a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone was no small matter. Her willingness to accept it came from absolute trust in Su Ran. Su Ran glanced at her and said lightly, It's normal to be nervous. Since Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong has entrusted herself to me, I'll be frank. There is actually a second method to revive Xiao Wu's mother, becoming a god. If you can find and pass a divine trial, you could remove that origin and soul yourself. He briefly explained. In the past, Tang San received sacrifices from the Sky Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape. After becoming a god, they were revived and became supreme powerhouses just below the gods. Although Xiao Wu's mother was not a sacrifice, there was the same kind of turning point. Bibi Dong's expression changed. A divine trial? She didn't need to search for one. Still, she shook her head. Becoming a god is far too difficult, and divine trials are rarer still. Even if I tried for 30 or 50 more years, I might never find one. Teacher Su, please proceed directly. Even if I lose this 100,000-year spirit bone and the spirit ring, I can bear it. Becoming a god? That thought horrified her. After ascending, she might not be able to remain on the continent. Would she be separated from Teacher Su? Impossible. Su Ran bowed his head in faint amusement. Since you've chosen this, I'll minimize your losses. First, sit cross-legged on the ice jade bed and get comfortable. I need to fetch some auxiliary items. He stood and vanished into the peach forest. On the other side of the garden, Dugu Bo, the poison guardian, jumped up from his lounge chair when he saw Su Ran appear and hurriedly brought out several exquisite boxes from a nearby thatched hut. Dinsu, these are the 3 10,000-year holy soul grasses you requested. The 10,000-year dragon blood spirit ginseng, the 9-grade green lotus root, and the soul-guiding flower. Suran checked the contents and murmured his thanks. Thank you, Poison Guardian, for tending the flowers and plants. Dugubo rubbed his head and chuckled. Dinsu, what are you saying? I'm honored to take care of them. If I hadn't learned about plants from you, I wouldn't have known there were 2 such treasure plots in the academy, almost as good as the ice and fire yin-yang well. I wouldn't have learned half as much about cultivation theory. Your fertilizers and spirit water are extraordinary. One watering, and in days plants grow what would normally take decades. It's amazing. Suran smiled faintly. These planting materials are scarce and almost impossible to come by. But cultivating a few top-grade plants for students to use in body refining and soul nourishment is worth it. That's true. When we were cultivating, we didn't have conditions like this. The girls are lucky to have a teacher like you, Dinsu. Dugubo hesitated, then asked, But Dinsu, are the plants you want for Bibi Dong from the Supreme Pontiff Palace? From what I know, that Bibi Dong isn't a benevolent person. What is your relationship with her? After a short exchange, Dubo couldn't help but press. The old Poison Guardian's eyes were shrewd. That Bibi Dong fellow had designs on Dinsu. The dignified Supreme Pontiff, instead of remaining in Spirit City, had shown up at Taoyuan Academy to pester Teacher Su. It had been one thing when Suran paid her no attention. In the last 2 days, he'd been unusually close to her. He'd even prepared various sub-immortal and higher-grade plants that nourish blood, vitalize the soul, and strengthen qi and the spirit. What if she seduced the teacher? Yanner and the others' prospects were at stake. Suran smiled faintly. Poison Guardian, rest assured. I know what I'm doing. Dugubo relaxed a little. Then I trust your judgment. I only mentioned it in passing. He hesitated, then bowed to Suran. But there is something more I must confess. Suran helped him up, a flicker of confusion in his eyes. Poison Guardian, what is it? You helped me manage the garden, and I haven't even thanked you. What sin have you committed? Dugubo looked ashamed. It's because you trusted me to tend the treasure plot that I feel I failed. Only recently, I discovered 2 sub-immortal grade plants were missing, and 1 immortal grade plant was destroyed. He led Suran to a patch where the vegetation glinted, pointing to a corner where an immortal grade plant had withered, apparently damaged by rough harvesting. Nearby were the cut roots of 2 others, recently harvested, within the last 30 days. Suran considered the evidence, but did not scold. Poison Guardian, there is no need to blame yourself. With so many plants, it's normal for a few to die. Not finding it immediately isn't a sin. If they had withered naturally, that would be one thing, but I'm afraid someone from outside the academy came to steal plants. Dugubo's voice tightened. I was away taking a few girls to Slaughter City. Someone must have bypassed my peach blossom array and sneaked in. They wanted 2 immortal grade plants, but didn't know how to select them, so they took 2 sub-immortal ones instead. Whoever did it is strong, above level 95, and good at concealment and escape. That's why I was careless. Suran scanned the traces at the scene, frowned, and quickly deduced the general situation. Dugubo slapped his forehead. Dinsu is sharp, but who would dare sneak into Taoyuan Academy to steal plants? I deserve punishment for not being vigilant. Suran's gaze locked on a blue-silver grass swaying with a blue-gold pattern. It had been planted in a slightly central spot in the treasure plot, cunningly hidden among taller flora. Only Suran's spiritual immortal eyes had caught the emerging blades. It seemed to sense the easy aura of the peach immortal mortal world around Suran and swayed more vividly. Poison Guardian, when was this blue-silver grass planted? Suran asked. Dugubo peered, confused. About 30 days ago, I think. I noticed it some time back and assumed you had returned and planted it, so I didn't pay it much attention. I was wondering why there was an unusual blue-silver grass here. Suran smiled faintly, already knowing whose handiwork it was. His good son, the one he'd taken in, was a true rogue, even stealing plants and using the treasure plot to plant his own grass and leach nutrients. Since it was planted, it would be difficult to remove. One blue silver emperor in exchange for two sub-immortal grade plants and one ruined immortal grade plant, Su Ran said. Not a profit, but not a total loss. It's an even trade. Poison Guardian, you must guard this blue silver emperor carefully. It is more precious than ordinary immortal grade plants. Find a spiritual pot and cultivate it separately. Don't let anyone steal it, or I will punish you. All right. Once a plant is pulled from the ground, its vitality and medicinal properties weaken by a third. It needs to be used quickly. I'll take care of it. Su Ran gathered the flowers, plants, and medicinal herbs he needed and vanished into the garden. Dugu Bo stood bewildered. Immortal grade? Blue-silver emperor? He didn't understand what Dean Su meant, but he cupped his hands and promised solemnly, Dean Su, rest assured. I'll guard the plot like my life depends on it. If the blue-silver emperor is lost, let them ride me like a donkey. Vote for the first person to take the teacher. Do you choose Bibi Dong? If yes, comment 1 here. If no, comment 2. 2 plot lines. During the bone extraction, emotions rise and Bibi Dong takes the protagonist, who cannot resist. The protagonist resists and slaps Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong awake. Choose. I respect the reader's choice. Chapter 175, Immortal Grade Flowers and Plants Accompany New Disciples. The continuation of the Dugu bloodline falls on Yaner. Dad, where's Mom? Has Mom been taken? Under a waterfall in a secluded valley, Tang San, having fled Slaughter City and returned to continue training his great Sumeru hammer intent, dove into the dark water cave to sense his mother's aura, only to find the golden-patterned blue-silver emperor was gone. Alarmed, he hurried to find his father, Tang Hao, and demand an explanation. Tang Hao pretended to ponder deeply, his back impressive and composed. Little San, practice your hammer diligently. When your hammer technique reaches major achievement and you become a true powerhouse, perhaps your mother will be able to manifest a physical form to meet you. Really, Dad? She's been growing for so many years in that dim water cave and still hasn't recovered. Haven't we tried everything? Tang San pressed. He looked at his father's back with surprise. Then the surprise turned to hope. Is it the ice and fire yin-yang well? Even though Taoyuan Academy nearly emptied that well and absorbed much of its power, and it will take a long time to recover, it's still a treasure trove, Tang San said. It's far better than this water cave. I'm ashamed I didn't think of it sooner. After Su Ran had left with his new disciples to cultivate in the ice and fire yin-yang well, Tang San had followed Tang Hao there again, hoping to get lucky and find overlooked immortal grade flowers and plants, or to use the well's power to temper his physique. He soaked in the well for days and nights. His physique improved a bit, but not enough to achieve the effect of refining the golden body, strengthening the physique. Tang Hao simply smiled and shook his head. Although the ice and fire well is excellent, its source is nearly exhausted. I found an even better treasure land, 100 times better than that well, and it's specially tended. I estimate Yin will reappear in the human world in less than 20, maybe even 10 years. Tang Hao's words lit a spark of hope in Tang San. Huo Wu was gone. Taoyuan Academy had refused to accept him, and he desperately needed something to live and strive for. Tang Hao had thought through planting Yin in Taoyuan Academy's peach garden. The orchard contained countless precious flowers and plants. No one would notice a small blue-silver grass. Even if they did, blue-silver grass had almost no medicinal value to soul masters. At worst, it would be treated as a weed and tossed aside. The blue-silver emperor's vitality was so strong she wouldn't die. He could retrieve her whenever he wanted. Yin, grow well. Wait for me. Our son is waiting for you to return, Tang Hao murmured, looking toward Taoyuan Academy with a confident smile. He had planned this as the ultimate gambit. He imagined Su Ran and his students' faces when Yin matured and he came to collect her. It would be priceless. Oh, and I have 2 pretty decent plants here. Take them and absorb them. They should help your physique a little. Tang Hao produced 2 rather exotic flowers and handed them to Tang San. Because his preservation methods were crude, both had been slightly damaged and had lost some potency, but Tang San's eyes still lit up. 9-grade black sesame, purple cloud elixir grass, both are top tier, Tang Hao sighed. A shame they're a bit ruined. Dad, you're amazing. You even managed to find such high-grade plants. At Taoyuan Academy, Su Ran called the students together. You may all disperse for now, he said. Over the past 2 years, your new disciples have almost finished tempering their physiques with medicinal baths at the academy. Some of the academy's flowers and plants have entered maturity. I have selected several for you. Take them back to accompany you. They'll greatly benefit your cultivation. If you feel the timing is right, you may absorb them. He named recipients as he handed out the plants. Bing'er, Yue, Shui Wu, Shui. These are for you. Immortal grade frost bloom jade hairpin flower, immortal grade tidal dragon orchid, immortal grade snowthread qiang flower. More than a dozen disciples had gathered, curious about what Su Ran was doing with Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong. Ning Rongrong, Dugu Yan, Wang Sheng, Shui Bing'er, and the others all distrusted Bibi Dong. The Soul Master competition was over, and none of them were vindictive, but this clever, ruthless woman had earned their wariness. Su Ran took out several immortal-grade plants and distributed them to Shui Bing'er and her sisters. When the plants appeared, the air seemed to stiffen, their faint radiance breathtaking. Immortal-grade frost bloom jade hairpin flower. Its whole form was consummately pure, without any impurity. 9 frost leaves unfurled, and the central stamen shone like an ice jade hairpin. Tidal dragon orchid, an immortal-grade plant that refines itself by absorbing moonlight and tidal force. Its petals open and close with the moon, exuding a fresh, slightly salty scent like seawater. Snowthread qiang flower, petals like snow chiffon and qiang silk. When its petals fall, they seem to turn into dew of snow. These immortal-grade plants were not easily obtained. Su Ran had cultivated them for years with top-grade fertilizers and spiritual waters gathered through teaching disciples, and only recently had some matured. He selected plants suitable for each disciple's physique so they could absorb them at the right stage and get the maximum benefit. Shui Bing'er's 3 sisters had particularly good fortune that a matching immortal-grade plant matured for them. Others, Mu Yunju, Mu Yunteng, Yaozi, Gu Qingbo, were less lucky. Su Ran handed out sub-immortal-grade plants that would still keep them company, and even Xiao Chenyu received something. After distributing the plants, Su Ran waved them away. For the time being, summarize what you've achieved in cultivation over the past 2 years. When I come out, I'll assess the core disciples. Also, no one is to approach Taoyuan Pavilion. Remember, no one. If any disciple disobeys, they will be expelled from the academy. Xiao Wu, you will guard the front of the pavilion. As long as I don't come out, you cannot leave for a moment, understand? Taoyuan Pavilion, a quiet retreat behind the main school building, was Su Ran's place to rest, grade assignments, and cultivate. After giving his orders, Su Ran took Xiao Wu and the pre-prepared plants, medicinal herbs, and tools into the pavilion. His warning, backed by the threat of expulsion, silenced any joking. They knew Su Ran was normally gentle, so for him to threaten expulsion, something serious must be going on. None of them knew what kind of power Bibi Dong held that made Su Ran insist on being alone with her in the pavilion. Qian Renxue had an uneasy feeling. What exactly was this woman doing? How had she lured their teacher away for private time? Ning Rongrong fretted. She had predicted this. This supreme pontiff was a threat. Dugu Yan frowned and sighed softly. Then a pair of large hands patted her shoulders. Dugu Bo, her grandfather, sighed too and spoke warmly. Yaner, being dedicated to cultivation is important, but a lifelong matter is even more important. Look, that wretched supreme pontiff has already taken Teacher Su off to do something secretive. You need to apply yourself. Our Dugu family has only one bloodline now, and there's only you to carry it on. The weight of bringing honor to our ancestors and continuing the lineage falls on you, child. Teacher Su is the only man your grandfather approves of. You understand what I mean, right? Oh, Grandpa. Dugu Yan's cheeks flushed, and she muttered, Honestly, Grandpa, you're shameless in your old age. You used to forbid me any courting, and besides, I want to, but there just haven't been chances. Cough, I didn't forbid all courting, only those inexperienced boys outside, a bunch of unreliable types. Of course your grandfather didn't like them, but Teacher Su is different. No opportunity? Then make one. It's just that little thing between men and women. Coincidences and timing can be arranged. Your grandma and I, weren't we also? Cough, cough! Chapter 176, Supreme Pontiff. Please relax. You little rabbit who slipped through the net, I, the Pope, will return your mother to you soon, the Supreme Pontiff promised Huo Wu. I'll sacrifice a 100,000-year spirit ring and a spirit bone to do it. I have one request. When I come out, can I borrow your yearning heartbroken red for a while? Why do you need my yearning heartbroken red? Huo Wu asked. Never mind. If mother can come back, I'll give it to you. I can even lend it. It's a deal, little rabbit. You're lucky to have found a good teacher in the mortal world. If it had been someone else, even if blood flowed like a river, I wouldn't have backed down. When you come out, you'll have to call me teacher, the Supreme Pontiff teased. That would only be an assistant teacher, Huo Wu replied with a smile. With the agreement made in front of the Peach Bloom Pavilion, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong drew a deep breath. The pavilion's doors and windows closed, sealed tight with spirit power, leaving Huo Wu alone at the only guarded entrance. Bibi Dong addressed Suran before the procedure began. Supreme Pontiff, I must apologize in advance. What follows may seem presumptuous. Please lie down, Suran instructed gently. Is it starting? Teacher Su, is it going to hurt? It will hurt a bit. If you can't bear it, call out. Will there be blood? I haven't bled in a very long time. That depends on your physique. With your strength, the chance of bleeding is small, but it will be painful. All right, Teacher Su, don't be gentle with me. Ah, it hurts a little. What a magnificent, powerful energy. Supreme Pontiff, please relax and don't resist. Teacher Su, give me a moment to adapt. No one has ever been in contact with me like this before. I'm nervous. Only the gem's light lit the pavilion, most of it falling on the ice jade bed where the Supreme Pontiff lay, exquisite and proud, beautiful beyond compare. Suran arranged his herbs and held 2 carving knives he had forged over the past 2 days. The blades were refined from the ice and fire raw stones at the spring eyes of the ice and fire yin-yang well, one the fire dragon carving knife, the other the ice dragon carving knife. He had made them specifically for carving bones and souls. Fusing his spirit power with the fire dragon knife, Suran touched Bibi Dong's glabella and opened a small passage. When he tried to enter her sea of consciousness to carve and destroy the soul-guiding imprint, massive resistance pushed back against him. He had to withdraw both spirit and soul power. Supreme Pontiff, you must adapt to my power slowly. If most of my spirit and soul power is invested in you, and you have even the slightest thought of resistance, the soul guiding and bone carving will be impossible. The collision of our forces could seriously injure us, or even cause a regression of spirit power. I haven't reached perfection with the soul carving and bone solidifying method from the Emerald Nether Dao, he added. I need your full cooperation. It was awkward to admit that the Emerald Nether Dao was one of the 3 great demonic divine abilities. Its cultivation method was taboo in many ways, unsuited to joint cultivation between the sexes. Suran had only studied a single chapter of it and was not skilled at guiding someone into the necessary relaxed state. He needed the Supreme Pontiff's tacit cooperation. It's my fault, Bibi Dong said, steadying her breath. I'll try my best. Her nervousness and fear were natural reactions. Despite a brash public persona, she bore psychological scars from youth. They made close contact with men instinctively repulsive. Only Suran's presence, never fully repelling her, only making her flush and nervous, kept her from reacting violently. Suran explained the process again, step by careful step. Spirit rings fuse with the spirit and integrate into the body. The best place to store them is the Spirit Master's Sea of Consciousness. I need to enter your sea, find your spirit origin, and perform the soul-guiding imprint to coax out the soul and origin of the 100,000-year spirit ring trapped in your 9th ring. You must have absolute trust in my soul and in my power. Treat me as if I were part of yourself. Extraction from the bones is even more difficult, especially a torso spirit bone, he continued. I must inject spirit power into your body to locate the spirit bone precisely. To avoid damaging your bones and causing severe injury, I will use these 2 carving knives to carefully carve around the spirit bone and then transfer its origin power using a transplanting flowers to connect trees method. Every step must be exact. Do you understand? The gravity of the operation left no room for mistakes. Suran repeated the instructions to ensure it sank in. The cost of error could be blood or worse. Bibi Dong steadied herself. Her preparation was simple. She watched Suran intently, letting the fluttering peach blossoms and the sight of him cover her psychological shadows. Her face flushed. Tiny beads of moisture gathered at her lashes as she welcomed him inwardly. Teacher Su, I'm ready. Let's begin. I trust you. Do whatever you need. She lay on the ice-white jade bed, her skin paler in the cool air, violet eyes shyly closed. To an ordinary man, her slightly bashful expression would have been irresistible. Suran inhaled and focused. This was a difficult operation for him too, but with her cooperation, he believed it could be done. His 9 miraculous spirit rings flashed and faded at his feet. Threads of spirit power danced around his fingertips as he gripped the ice and fire twin dragon carving knives. Having crafted the crack soul sky-shattering cannon before, a close-range, high-burst killing weapon that demanded extreme precision, his hands were steady and rarely trembled. Emerald Nether, Soul Entry Seal. Holding the fire dragon carving knife, Suran traced a fiery winged gate between Bibidong's brows. The spirit is the inner world. The soul belongs to yin and needed yang heat to be opened. I'm really going in, he murmured. Bibidong gasped. The warmth at her glabella spread inward, opening a mental pathway. Her body trembled slightly, then began to calm as the touch was gentler than she had feared, comforting rather than aggressive. Within her sea of consciousness, a figure formed in flowing, energy-woven robes, its presence unmistakable. The mortal world true soul that Suran manifested was more graceful, more alluring than any physical form. It shone and dispelled the darkness within her mind, making her divine soul real. Chapter 177, Unfastening the Skirt Belt, a Work of Art. The teacher's heart, a benevolent healer's heart, boundless gloom devoured the heart. Within it, a solitary girl wept. As Suran's soul entered the supreme pond of spiritual sea, he felt the darkness press in immediately. Bibidong's inner world was a gray-black ocean of swirling mist, 2 spider-shaped star patterns hovering in the sky, and only a single pinpoint of light at the center. The faint glow of a blooming peach blossom. Before he could study it further, hands reached out from the gloom and clawed at his robes. They were helpless, childish hands, full of panic and terror, and a tangle of frantic voices rose from them. Woo Wu, save me. Can you stay here with me? Donger is so lonely. Please, kill me. I don't want to live anymore. Child, my child. Why? She is a sin. Ah, die! Everyone must die. Go! Suran felt the peach blossom chi in his soul swell, about to push the darkness back. Then, from the midst of the gloom, a noble figure emerged. Her presence dispersed the dark, ghostly women that resembled her, scattering 70 to 90% of them. Bibidong bowed slightly to Suran. Teacher Su, welcome to my spiritual sea, she said, a little embarrassed. It may not be beautiful here. Please don't mind it. Suran studied the gray-black expanse for a moment and replied calmly, It's all right. Everyone carries darkness. Yours is just more thorough. No, Bibidong's voice wavered. She pointed to the brightest spot beneath the peach blossom where a small area glowed pink and tender. I wasn't always like this. Once I was like this peach blossom. Suran's gaze lingered on the light. At the blossom's core, versions of Bibidong of different ages gathered, huddled like a warm refuge, the heart of her inner world. That small warmth revealed the truth. Suran had become Bibidong's greatest solace. It explained why she'd insisted on staying at Taoyuan Academy, giving up a 100,000-year spirit ring and a spirit bone. Only at Taoyuan could the darkness in her heart be touched by light, allowing her to let the rest fall away, if only for a while. Your Holiness, time is precious. Let us begin. Suran took a steadying breath. The soul drawing and spirit bone carving he was about to perform would be a test of Bibidong's ability to let go, and a massive strain on Suran himself. Bibidong nodded. Above them, one of the spider star patterns brightened. 9 spirit rings manifested in its light, an abnormal configuration, and the 9th ring glowed the deep red of a 100,000-year spirit ring. A name flashed in Suran's mind, Jadeite Nether, Soul Drawing Method. Standing amid the gloom, Suran's hands moved into a seal, forming a symbol like a purgatory flower. The soul-drawing imprint created a passage that linked to the 100,000-year spirit ring, drawing out its origin and the remnant soul inside. The soul was indistinct, at times appearing as a gentle woman, at times as a white rabbit, the soft-bones rabbit spirit of Huo Wu. It was fragile, like smoke. As the color of the spirit ring dimmed and its cultivation flowed backward, the remnant soul seeped over the soul-drawing seal and began to leave Bibi Dong's spiritual sea. Bibi Dong's brows drew together in pain. The separation of a 100,000-year ring from one's body hurt like a deep psychic wound. But almost at once she felt gentle power fill her, tend and heal those wounds. It was Su Ran, splitting his soul to perform the jadeite nether method. Although a portion of his soul had entered Bibi Dong's inner world, Su Ran still controlled his body. His left hand gripped the ice dragon carving knife to inscribe the external soul-drawing seal. The ice dragon, being yin, guided and preserved the remnant soul. In his right hand, a fire dragon materialized to refine a sacred soul grass, which he sent into the spiritual sea to replenish Bibi Dong's depleted origin. Next will be more painful and more difficult. I need to probe the shape of your torso bones, Su Ran told her. Bibi Dong, already weakened, asked, voice trembling, what do I need to do? Is it like feeling the bones? There was shame and a flush of excitement in her question. The idea that Teacher Su might physically examine her torso stirred an uneasy longing. Su Ran explained patiently, direct contact gives the best results, but there are differences between men and women. I'll use soul power to internally examine your torso bones and try to keep your clothes on. I'll use the ice dragon and fire dragon carving knives to extract the power of the 100,000-year spirit bone. This will consume a great deal of my soul power and spirit power. Do not resist the spirit bone carving, or it may all be for nothing. Understand? Bibi Dong nodded, but the disappointment on her face was unmistakable. Even though what they were doing was solemn and painful, she felt oddly happy that Su Ran's soul was in her spiritual sea. Her longing for physical contact with him intensified, and she had to force herself to suppress it. Before she could say more, Su Ran lowered the 9-grade green lotus root above her body. A soul-drawing flower blossomed on it, and the carving knife in his hand began to move over her clothes. The motion was painstakingly slow. Every millimeter felt to Bibi Dong like a blade along her bones, like they were being sliced and peeled at once. Her face went pale, her whole body trembled, and she gritted her teeth against the pain. Su Ran's own expression showed strain, a bead of sweat tracing his cheek. Teacher Su, she breathed. Teacher Su, it hurts so much. Hold on, he murmured. If I can get a clearer angle, I can work faster. With a soft, tearing sound, the purple-white skirt belt was quickly unfastened. Beneath, her body was revealed. Graceful curves, a flat-toned abdomen, skin pale and smooth as white jade. Su Ran drew a single measured breath, steadied himself, and continued. He eased the ice and fire twin dragon carving knives along the Supreme Pontiff's torso, pressing with careful control even when the blade tip brushed the delicate peach blossom area. There was no impropriety in his gaze, only intense focus and respect. In his mind, he repeated a quiet admonition, a steadying mantra: a healer's heart is a parent's heart. A healer's heart is a parent's heart. Su Ran, no other thoughts. Be a healer. Chapter 178. Rakshasa's evil thoughts emerge, teaching the Supreme Pontiff the Bu Dao great method. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, the sun rose and set again. 100,000-year spirit ring and a spirit bone were not trivial things. Extracting them safely took time and cost dearly. During the process, Su Ran's spirit power and mental force were heavily depleted. His peerless face had gone slightly pale. Bibi Dong suffered even more. Even though Su Ran had prepared warming and soul-nourishing herbs in advance, they barely eased the agony. The 9th-grade azure lotus root hovered above Bibi Dong's near-perfect body. Su Ran had carved it into the rough outline of a human torso, enough to host a remnant soul. A remnant soul of a soft-bones rabbit hovered there, sometimes cocking its head as if curious about Su Ran's presence. He was so beautiful, so handsome. Beside it, the origin and remnant soul of Xiao Wu's mother lay almost completely preserved, sustained by a 10,000-year dragon spirit blood ginseng. It was almost finished. Su Ran steadied his trembling hands. He was about to complete the last carving on the torso bone. Supreme Pontiff, he said softly, the spirit-carrying lotus root for the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone is nearly complete. You must endure a little longer. I need to draw out the remaining remnant soul. After this is done, you will be weakened and lose your 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone skills. What's that? Bibi Dong's voice was a whisper. Not good, someone cried. Darkness began to swell within Bibi Dong's spiritual sea, spreading until it covered the peach blossom petal there. The spiderweb patterns of her aura flashed with malignant threads. Just as Suran finished the final carve and was about to extract the remnant soul, a terrifying purple-black scythe of death sliced through the patterns and severed the soul-guiding channel Suran had painstakingly opened. He was trapped in Bibi Dong's spiritual sea. Outside, in the Peach Serenity Pavilion, the cut in the soul connection left his body dazed, his gaze vacant. Bibi Dong's normally faint purple eyes darkened to a purplish red. A sudden surge of power, its source unknown, gave her strength. She hauled Suran onto the ice jade bed, her soft body pressed tightly against his. Her eyes lingered on his peach blossom, flawless face. Evil, possessive thoughts gleamed there. Before Suran could react, she kissed his lips. It's the Rakshasa god's power, he thought, struggling within the spiritual sea. Under the peach petal guardian, the various souls that had been nested there at different stages were being eaten away by the spreading darkness. Their impulses of malice were roused and began to coalesce, merging into a single, malevolent incarnation. Even Bibi Dong's own dominant soul began to waver. Teacher Su, this is bad, she, or the darkness, murmured in his mind. I didn't expect the Rakshasa seal to open now. It must have sensed my power being stripped and torn its seal to defend itself. I haven't passed this stage of the divine trial. I can't fully control the Rakshasa god's power. This is a force of malevolence. It will drive me mad. What should I do? What should I do? Another corner of her consciousness panicked. But at the same time, other voices surfaced. Seductive, greedy, triumphant. Ah, Teacher Su, you're so handsome. I want you so much. Teacher Su, don't leave. You belong to me. We are meant to be together. I am darkness. You are a banished immortal. Together we will be perfect. Teacher Su, from now on you are mine. We will rule the Supreme Pontiff Palace, unify the continent, crush anyone who dares oppose us. The voices layered over one another, each feeding the next, amplifying possessiveness into plans for conquest. Supreme Pontiff, Bibi Dong, wake up! Suran shouted, flinging his sleeve. A refreshing, peach-scented breeze swept the pavilion. But he had already burned through nearly all his mental force, guiding the soul and carving the bone. In Bibi Dong's spiritual sea, he was at a disadvantage, especially since this was her ground. With the soul path severed by the scythe, his perception of the physical world was blurred and his control over his body weak. He'd prepared 3 holy soul grasses before beginning, one for himself, one for Bibi Dong, and one for Xiao Wu's mother, to restore soul power in emergencies. Now they were useless. Worse, if Bibi Dong's malevolence surged and clashed with him, the 100,000-year soft-bones rabbit remnant soul he had so painstakingly drawn out might scatter. If that remnant soul dispersed into the world, it would be nearly impossible for them to recover it with their current strength. Bibi Dong, steady yourself. Hold on to whatever sanity you have. Suran urged inside the spiritual sea, drawing on his last reserves of power. Listen to me. This is the mind cultivation method of the Bu Dao Great Method. Follow my guidance and slowly suppress the Rakshasa's force. He began to recite and to guide, voice steady even as his power flickered. Breathe as if into a flowing spring, condense spirit in the dantian like a gathered moon. Start like a swaying willow, wrists turning and waist rotating to link with the great void. As you inhale, draw light clouds into the twin peaks. As you exhale, transform them into fine rain to moisten the dantian. Let qi circulate soft yet firm, like water over stones, never violent, always rhythmic. Use divine sense to transform qi like mist on the mountains, bypassing obstacles and moving through openness. When moving, be like thunder that strikes and stirs qi. When still, be like sun and moon in harmony, spirit united. His last thread of soul power flared. In the spiritual sea, he seized Bibi Dong's neck and intoned the lines, trying to anchor her. Even if she could not fully recover, stabilizing her with the Bu Dao method would be better than surrendering. For a moment it seemed to work. Then the Rakshasa's evil will exploded. A surge of soul power struck back and the two forces collided. Suran felt a winding path open to a tranquil place where trickling streams swelled into a great river. It threatened to drown him as it poured from a narrowing mouth. For a time, their souls tangled together. In the spiritual sea and in the Peach Serenity Pavilion, reality blurred into something intoxicating. The remnant soul of the soft-bones rabbit hung in midair, watching the strange tenderness and confusion below. An impossible, faintly bashful sound escaped it. What are these two beautiful humans doing? Outside at Taoyuan Academy, something odd was happening. The peach trees around the grounds seemed to be answering some hidden cadence. Their blossoms quivered and swayed. Blooms opened and fell, then opened again. Students noticed. Shui Bing'er's bright eyes fixed on a tree that bloomed afresh. She tugged at Shui Bing'er excitedly. "Sister, look! It's blooming again. Oh, it opened again. This is so magical." "Why do the Academy's peach blossoms wither and bloom again every couple of hours?" Another student wondered. "What's going on? And look, when they open and close, it's like tiny butterflies fluttering when we're nervous. It's so shy." Shui Bing'er whispered into Shui Bing'er's ear, cheeks flushed. Oh, Teacher Su. Could something have happened to Teacher Su?" "Xiao Wu, do you know how Teacher Su is doing?" several students asked. Xiao Wu had not closed her eyes for days, standing watch at the pavilion entrance. "I don't know," she said. "But Teacher Su told us that no one is allowed to enter until he comes out." "How many days has it been? There's been no sign at all." "Xiao Wu, aren't you worried? Did he succeed?" "Who said there's no movement? Yesterday I saw the Peach Serenity Pavilion shaking a bit. That must have been just the wind." "Enough. Teacher Su is doing something important. We can't disturb him," Xiao Wu insisted. Just then, the pavilion gate hummed and opened. A young man's face appeared, astonishingly handsome, but exhausted and a little helpless, like an immortal fallen into the mortal world. He sighed softly. "Xiao Wu," he said, voice rough with fatigue, "take good care of this 9th-grade azure lotus rabbit. Feed it daily with the remaining blood ginseng. When it's used up, go to the flower garden and gather more." Xiao Wu replied dutifully. "Nana, after your teacher wakes up, you can go and tend to her for a while." "Alas, Teacher Su," someone murmured. "Did something happen to Teacher Su? Is he too tired?" another asked. "Xiao Wu, what exactly is Teacher Su doing in there with that pompous supreme pontiff?" the students blurted, worry and curiosity mingling in their voices. Chapter 1-9. Once a teacher, always a father. Do you understand? Bibi Dong did not know how long she had been out. When she finally opened her eyes, the windows of Peach Serenity Pavilion were wide, and pale sunlight slipped in, making her eyes narrow like two moons. There was no odd smell in the room. Her ice jade bed was strewn with precious flowers and plants, their heads nodding gently and giving off a light, clean fragrance. Her clothes were tidy, not a hair out of place. For a moment, the beautiful woman allowed herself a ridiculous thought. Could it all have been a dream, her night with Teacher Su, and nothing had really happened? The notion vanished the instant she noticed a few torn marks on her purple dress and felt the definite fullness along her belly. A small, incredulous smile spread over Bibi Dong's still pale face, which looked as if it had just endured a brutal battle and been bathed in sweat. "It's real. It all really happened. Did Teacher Su arrange these flowers? What an experience. He was truly gentle." Her muddled mind cleared a little. Surrounded by blooms, a fresh contentment rose in her chest. She checked herself carefully. Her body felt weak. The 100,000-year spirit bone and its spirit ring were gone. Her spirit power had dropped by more than 2 grades, now wavering between levels 96 and 97. For a limit Douluo, that was a heavy loss. Still, Teacher Su had not lied. Though she'd lost the spirit bone and ring and her spirit power had fallen, her life was not in danger. Her pulse was steady, and she sensed her mental force and the quality of her spirit power had, in fact, improved. In her spirit sea, the darkness had been largely driven back. Where once a single peach blossom petal had offered protection, that petal had now taken root, grown vigorously, and was unfurling into buds and stamens that lit half of her sea of consciousness. Perhaps one day this peach blossom would become a brilliant tree of life there, a spiritual totem to dispel all the darkness for her. What cultivation method did Teacher Su teach me? She wondered aloud, surprised as she let a thread of purple-gold spirit power drift from her. Have I begun to fuse with the Rakshasa god's divine force? Have I passed the Rakshasa god's test? A gentle, authoritative voice answered from outside the bedchamber. You've just lost 100,000-year spirit ring and the spirit bone, Teacher Su had said earlier, and a large amount of spirit power flowed away. This is a weak period. It's best not to use spirit power or spirit abilities now. Use them, and you risk damaging your body. As she was thinking this, several young girls flowed in. Ning Rongrong placed a steaming bowl of medicinal soup on the little table at Bibi Dong's bedside. Seeing Bibi Dong channel spirit power, she scolded, unable to hide her concern. Rest and recuperate. This tonic was prepared earlier at teacher's orders. Everything used was precious grade or above. It nourishes the soul, strengthens the bones, and steadies spirit power. Take it 3 times a day and don't miss a dose. Bibi Dong murmured. Though Ning Rongrong's tone had that usual brusque sharpness, and despite the girl's lingering hostility and questions, Bibi Dong felt a warmth from the soup seep into her bones. This little girl from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was still putting on airs? Soon you'll be calling me sister-in-law. Teacher, let me feed you. You look so frail. What exactly did you do with Teacher Su? Hulina moved to the bed and took the spoon, gently feeding Bibi Dong. It was the first time she'd seen her teacher so weak, as if she had been gravely wounded. Bibi Dong, what did you say to teacher? I only went to arrange lodgings for a moment, and when I came back you dragged teacher into staying 5 nights and 5 days in this Peach Serenity Pavilion. It's so mysterious. Qian Renxue came over too. At first a flash of reluctance crossed her face, but she quickly returned to an indifferent, cool expression and spoke with warning in her voice. She had known Bibi Dong long enough to be wary. The woman was too unpredictable. I'm warning you, Shir said. If you try to harm the academy or attack teacher, our elder hall won't just stand by. Bibi Dong fixed her with a calm, elder's gaze despite her weakness. Don't worry, you'll understand in time, and no matter what your intentions toward the academy, mine are pure. Shir, remember this. A teacher for a day is a father for life. From now on, you must respect and cherish Teacher Su like your own father. Understand? Even barely recovered, Bibi Dong carried the aura of a matriarch. Her words pressed down on Qian Renxue so that the young woman's face paled with suppressed anger. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to lecture me, Qian Renxue snapped. Then, as Bibi Dong's words replayed in her mind, she widened her eyes and stared, unable to say more. Bibi Dong, what exactly did you mean by that? A teacher for a day is a father for life. You? Had anyone else spoken so casually, she might have shrugged. From Bibi Dong, however, the remark hinted at something more. Bibi Dong only smiled faintly, the faint curl of triumph playing on her lips. That alone was enough to infuriate Qian Renxue. She stormed out of the pavilion without another word. Teacher, you're unbelievable, Huliana said, trying to smooth things over. She blew gently on the soup and fed Bibi Dong another spoonful. Bibi Dong's hand, jade and delicate, went automatically to her belly for a fraction of a second. If the child in her womb was Teacher Su's, and this girl gained a younger brother, that thought made Bibi Dong inwardly tingle with mischief and a little glee. After Ning Rongrong and Qian Renxue left, Huo Wu slipped in from behind, cradling a striking red flower and presenting it with reverence. Supreme Pontiff, this is the yearning heartbroken red. We agreed it would be for your use. Please accept it. No matter the past grievances, Teacher had chosen to revive her mother's soul. Huo Wu had decided that if Bibi Dong was willing to return a mother's power, she deserved more kindness. Besides, the blossom felt like a tether to her mother, a hope that one day the woman would return fully. Bibi Dong smiled and shook her head. No need, Huo Wu. Put the yearning heartbroken red away. I don't need it anymore. Huo Wu stared in surprise. But you said you needed it before. Why now? Bibi Dong's hand brushed the empty silk at her side as if feeling a new certainty. I thought I needed it to verify something, she said lightly, but not anymore. You need it far more than I do. This Bibi Dong is unbearable. A man and a woman locked in a room for so long, she didn't actually get him, did she? Impossible. Teacher Su isn't that sort of man. He can't be coerced or tempted. What once a teacher, always a father nonsense. She's just trying to rile us. I won't fall for it. Qian Renxue could not shake those words from her mind. She had come to Taoyuan Academy eager to be a disciple and learn, but since Bibi Dong's arrival, she had worn a cold, sour expression every day. At dawn, 20 students gathered beneath the radiant peach blossoms in front of the lecture hall for morning reading, their clear voices drifting like larks through the orchard. During the break, even some core disciples couldn't help but sigh. "Is Teacher Su not coming to teach today either?" one asked. "I heard Bibi Dong was injured and needs to recuperate. Xiao Wu keeps whispering to her rabbit all day, and Teacher Su has been off lately. He hasn't even shown up at the lecture hall." Teacher Su has never missed a class before. Rain or storm, he's always on time, the most punctual, dedicated teacher I've ever known. But ever since the Supreme Pontiff came, he's changed. What does that mean? It means that woman is trouble. If this keeps up, more students will lose their heads. My favorite part of the day is seeing Teacher Su's face, and now I can't. It's unbearable. Can you understand how I feel? My obsession with his looks is back. So, what exactly did Bibi Dong do to Teacher Su? If Teacher Su hadn't told us to take care of her, I would have chased her out. Wait, she's supposedly a peak expert. Could we even defeat her? That's not the point. Teacher Su already agreed to let her stay as an assistant teacher. The core disciples sighed together, worried and curious in equal measure. At Peach Serenity Pavilion, after several days of rest, Bibi Dong's complexion had improved, but she couldn't bring herself to smile. She stood by the window, staring at the pool pavilion where Su Ran lived. For days he had not come out once. He did not eat or leave his rooms, as if he were a different person. How could she feel at ease? A creeping inferiority welled up inside her. Su Ran, the peach blossom immortal teacher of Taoyuan Academy, the prodigy who had produced a championship soul master team in only 2 or 3 years, the youngest titled Douluo on the continent, and a man whose looks made people think he was pure and untouchable. How could she compare? She herself was the supreme pontiff of Spirit Hall and a rare spirit master genius. Her appearance and figure were nothing to be ashamed of, but she was not a young, innocent girl. She worried what he might have seen in his spirit sea. All lies pop like bubbles with the slightest touch, she thought bitterly. Teacher Su, maybe you saw my past in your spirit sea. It wasn't glorious. I wouldn't blame you if you couldn't accept it. She smoothed the pavilion, set the furnishings back in order, then lay a moment on the cold jade bed, breathing in the faint scent that still lingered like a memory of that day. With a slow exhale, she left the pavilion and walked to the edge of the creek, turning to bow, however slightly, toward Su Ran's peach blossom house. "Teacher Su," she said quietly, "I have troubled you for a long time. My body has recovered considerably. I am grateful to the Academy for the rare medicines and the care I received. It has been an honor to become an assistant teacher here, but I am, after all, the Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall. The Supreme Pontiff Palace has many matters that need my attention. I think it is time I return." She paused, then, with reluctance, turned to leave, but glanced back 3 times, each time hoping for a single word from the one voice she wanted to hear. A breeze stirred the peach petals and returned nothing but silence. "Teacher, you shouldn't be out in the wind with your condition. Stay and recuperate in the pavilion," Huliana said, seeing her emerge and setting her book down with concern. In recent days, Huliana and Qian Renxue had been studying Teacher Su's new theories, how early-stage amplification from support spirit masters was too weak, suggesting a rebalancing in favor of attack and control types, and how the essence of a spirit master lay in fully developing the spirit itself. These ideas were far from Spirit Hall orthodoxy and had fascinated them. "Don't go out if you aren't well. If you worsen, Teacher Su will blame us for poor care. Hurry back and rest," Qian Renxue grumbled. Ning Rongrong and Du Guyan nodded in agreement. They didn't like Bibi Dong, but they didn't want ill to come to anyone at Taoyuan Academy. Bibi Dong regarded them with a small cough. "There's no need. I've decided to return to Spirit City. Thank you for your concern while I was here." Ning Rongrong blinked in surprise. She hadn't expected the Supreme Pontiff to thank them, let alone to leave after finally being allowed to stay. Huliana reached out, reluctant. "Teacher, didn't you say you would stay as an assistant teacher? Traveling won't be easy in your condition. Why go back to Spirit City? Taoyuan Academy is a rare place for study, a true holy ground," Bibi Dong answered gently. You should stay and learn. I will wait for you to graduate. Perhaps then you'll be ready to take greater responsibilities. But the Supreme Pontiff Palace still needs me now. Staying here would only delay the students' more studies, and there are people to help me in Spirit Hall. Please, study well." She patted Hulina's head and smiled, a smile that may have contained more sorrow than she let on. "Really? You're really going back?" Qian Renxue asked, incredulous. This composed, accepting manner was not the same brazen woman they had seen clinging to Teacher Su. For the first time, the students saw Bibi Dong in a different light. Without another word, Bibi Dong bowed in thanks to the core disciples. Ning Rongrong, Du Guyan, Meng Yiran, Shui Bing'er, Shui Yuer, and the others watched, astonished, as she departed Taoyuan Academy. A breeze lifted her dark hair and stung her eyes, and she did not notice the moisture at their corners. She did not know if leaving was the right choice. Passing the lecture hall, she read the Academy's posted maxim and felt it strike something in her. Love begets love. Respect begets respect. "Farewell, Taoyuan Academy," she whispered to herself. "Teacher Su, I hope that when we meet again, I can be someone you are proud of, like these students, and not a stain."